is VA3 Bravo Kilowatt for the Hamilton Amateur Radio Club Monday Night HFnet. We have this net every Monday night on 7150 plus or minus. So if we're interfering with anybody, please move a little bit for us. We'd appreciate it. Anyway, this is B3 Bravo Kilowatt for the Hamilton Amateur Radio Club net on a Monday night. And we're located in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, at the west end of Lake Ontario. So anybody want to check into our net, please go now.
Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet, Zulu.
Yeah, Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet, Zulu. How are you doing tonight there? And we announced that we were going to be streaming live on YouTube. So how are you doing there tonight there, Chuck? Over?
Yeah, doing well, Rick, and all on net listening. I do know that somebody's on 148 and someone on 153. So I guess we'll just have to bear and grin it. But yes, we are streaming live on YouTube, and just look up my call, VA3CJZ, in the YouTube search and click on the live button. So tonight, Rick, I'm running on battery power as usual, and now I'm also using solar for charging my battery, and that's working out quite well. I just installed a new solar panel there, and it's 100 watt, and pretty happy with it.
Oh, very good, very good. Okay, well, you had a sunny day for it, so yeah, hopefully that'll work out well for you there, Chuck. Anyway, do you have a regular charger on the batteries when the sun is out, or the sun is not out, I mean?
Yes, that's affirmative. I've got the same name brand as the battery, which is Echo Worthy. So I have Echo Worthy batteries, and I have an Echo Worthy plug-in-the-wall charger, as well as the solar power. So yeah, we're rocking it here.
All right, that's the way to do it. Okay, so everybody on YouTube, on VA3 Charlie Juliet Zulu channel there, there's there's lots of things you can do for your amateur radio station. Okay, anyway, that's great, Chuck. Anything else here, over?
Yeah, I know field days coming up at the end of the month, but the way my back is feeling, Rick, I'm not going to be going any further than my own property. So, I might set up in the backyard here and bring my FTX1 out in the back with a battery and just have a nice day. Just plug in to my G5 RV antenna and see what happens. So I'll send it back to you concurrently right now. We've got 4 people watching the video, so promoting it is a good idea, Rick. So I'll send it back to you, Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet, Zulu.
Okay, and don't forget, that's a great idea going in the backyard. Yeah, you can get to try out that radio there as a portable. So that'll be great for you, Chuck. Anyway, yeah, well, there's 2 locations that we're kind of involved in, and the club's not really involved in the one, and John David's going to be running. He's going to be using the call sign VA3 Italy Sugar Golf on field day, and that's going to be in conjunction with the military. They're at the Winona Rifle Range, so they've got things set up there. They're going to have an exercise with the military. and but that's not the club. But the club now, we're going to be set up in Sheffield, in a farmer's field, a great big field, a friend of Peter's. So Peter, the club president, anyway, so that should turn out really good. And so anybody that's interested in field day that wants to come out there, anyway, they can go on the HamiltonARC.com and check out field day and the president. You can email the president at HamiltonARC.com to get more information as to the location, etc. All that. Anyway, and there's a field day meeting on this Tuesday coming up. Well, next week, not tomorrow, the next week. It'll be coming up, and I think it's the 16th, and there'll be a field day field day meeting on Teams. So if anybody's interested in any way at all, you can go on Teams and check it out. The address will be set up on HamiltonARC.com, so you can check that out. Okay, we're looking for check-ins here. This is the Hamilton Amateur Radio Club, Monday night HF, and we're located in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, at the west end of Lake Ontario. You do not have to be a club member to check in. So anybody, anywhere, if you're hearing me, please go now.
All right, Rick, while there's a bit of a lull there, I thought I'd give you a check-in from the UK. We've got a couple of people on board here in the YouTube chat, and we have Colin from the Northwest UK, and his call is Mike 7, Italy Whiskey Papa, M7IWP. And we have another person called 6 Volt Bus, no call sign, but both of them are in the chat there. And the 6 Volt Bus gentleman is in Northeast Ohio. He says he's copying us at a 5.7 there. Over.
Okay, and I didn't get it. He's using a 6 V but is that it? And whereabouts is he in the States again?
Okay, there he has no call sign. It's just his chat room handle is 6 Volt Bus, and he's in Southington, Ohio, which is Northeast Ohio, and he's copying us at a 5.7. No no call sign.
Yeah, okay, so he's probably an SWL because he gave a report there. So 6 Volt Butt, good evening, and thanks for listening in from Ohio. And Pal Colin from the UK, Mike 7, Italy Whiskey Papa, good that you were on there. Thank you very much for being there. And we're getting less check-ins now with the good weather. I guess the good weather's done it to us, Chuck, I think. Anyway, but that's okay. The odd guy will be on YouTube and be listening in on Chuck's streaming net there. So anybody, anywhere, you do not have to be a club member from the Hamilton Amateur Radio Club to join us here and give us a check-in. So this is VA3 Bravo Kilowatt looking for a check. Okay, I hear somebody in there, but I didn't quite copy that. Let him try it again. Okay, there's somebody in there, Chuck. I don't know what. Maybe you copied it better than me. I just didn't make out the call sign there. So whoever's in there, try it again.
Yeah, Rick, I was only picking up whiskey something for Charlie, and I didn't get the rest there. I'm sorry. If you've got a copy on me, sir, this is Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet Zulu, VA3CJZ. Try your call again. No, I think we lost him there, Rick. Back to you.
Yeah, I think so too. I didn't hear nothing that time. Okay, and I switched over and I couldn't hear him either. Sometimes if I switch SDRs, I can hear better. But this was not the case. Anyway, yeah, thanks for the help there, Chuck, and you got more of it than I did. So if he does come back, maybe the band conditions will get a little better as we go on. That's usually what happens. The later you go on at night, on 40 meters gets better. Okay, let's see if there's anybody else in there who wants to check into our net. This is VA3 Bravo Kilowatt. All are welcome.
VA3KMQ.
Yeah, VA3KMQ. Anybody else in there? Okay, that's it there. So, yeah, how are you doing there, Mike? And good to hear you in there. V3KMQ, V3 Bravo Kilowatt.
Yeah, V3BK, V3KMQ. Good evening there, Rick, and hello to Chuck also on the side there. Doing okay. Hope you guys are as well. Yeah, I too heard that other station trying to get in, and like Chuck, I heard Whiskey and Charlie. I didn't hear much else other than that, but he must not have stayed, or maybe conditions have totally faded out there. Anyway, good signal from you as always, Rick. 20 over, and Chuck, you were also 20 over. So solid signals this evening. I'm on my fan dipole, and I don't think the switching over to the vertical makes it better or worse. It's about the same. So again, solid signal. Anyway, check in for you, and yeah, I'll swing it back to you there, Rick. V3BK, V3KMQ.
Yeah, okay, yeah, solid signal here. You're 10 over on my stingy meter. You're solid, no wavering or nothing. Yeah, good and solid. Yeah, that Whiskey 4 Charlie or Whiskey Charlie station, if you're hearing us at all, you can try it again, or you can go on YouTube and check us out there, VA3 Charlie Juliet Zulu, and maybe hear us there. Yeah, anyway, so have you done any work with antennas, or have you done any DX or anything like that on the weekend there, Mike, or tell us what you've been up to there, over?
Yeah, actually, not much DX at all, and not much on the radio, to be honest with you. But no, this past weekend I did take in the KW Hamfest just outside of Cambridge. I've done that for the last 2 or 3 years. It wasn't bad this year. I found that it wasn't quite as active, if you will, with the number of vendors outside and maybe even inside that it was like last year. But it's always good to take in those Hamfests. Bumped into both 5 or 6 people that I recognized or have talked to, both from Hamilton and Burlington, another fella from Mississauga. So that's always good, just have a little chat, see what they're up to. And the weather held out beautifully, really nice weather, of course, as it has been today. But I didn't plan, I wasn't looking for anything, and of course, you know, the way it goes, you always pick up something, right? And I did, but one of those items that I picked up, Rick, was a 40-meter ham stick. I do have a couple of other ham sticks that I use as backups, right, for, portable, call it, maybe on the vehicle, stationary, mobile maybe, if that makes sense. Anyway, I've got a 20 and a 10 that I've had from before, but I wanted to get a 40 meter ham stick, and lo and behold, I found one. I tell you, I got it for $10. The first thing I did was, when I got home, I dragged out the Tri-Mag mount that I've got for the roof of the truck that I've got. Put it on there, tuned the whip up a little bit, and that thing was just a humming as far as, a check on the analyzer. It had a real sharp Q down at 77.140 with an SWR of 105, so I was pretty happy with that. You know, you never know what you're going to get, pick it a poke, so to speak, when you buy some of this stuff used, and it didn't look brand new, but it looked reasonably okay. But for $10, I got my money's worth. So the next step will be to put it to actual use one of these days. I'm not sure when that'll be, but we'll get out there when the weather's good and try that. So anyway, that's about the weekend anyway. There, Rick, back to you.
Well, that's fantastic. You got that. Those things are worth over $100 for sure. I'm brand new, I think. Yeah, excuse me while I cough. Anyway, yeah, you did really good. So that one, yeah, I missed that one. I wasn't able to get out. Is that the one that's at the police building there in Cambridge? I think it's just off the 401, isn't it?
Yeah, you got it exactly right. It's actually, I think they call it the town or the village of Ayr, but AYR, but it's basically just outside of Cambridge. What I did is I went up Highway 6 and then took a left at Regional Road 97, which is just near Freelton, and just took that all the way into Cambridge and a little bit beyond, just basically straight. And got there with a couple of turns as you got close to the site there. But yeah, that's the police. I don't know what they call it. There's a park that they I don't know if they own it, but they use it. They've got a baseball diamond and some other things there. So it looks like they use it probably for family get-togethers or whatever else they have there. So yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I've been to that place many times, but it doesn't surprise me. So it looks like participation was down a bit, and that's what Mike was saying. The other Mike, V3MMX, he was saying about Dayton. He said that it looked like the prices were really high, and the participation was down. That's what he noticed when he was there. And then he came home early because he thought it was going to rain, for the rest of the weekend. And it turned out it only rained on the Saturday, apparently. But, anybody that's never been there before, they wouldn't know that. They wouldn't know that. But I think the price of gas has really got a lot of people scared off for a while there. We're not going to see the big turnouts like we did, I don't think, right away, not for a little while. But anyway, well, I'm glad you got that's it, the stuff that is there is probably going to go for a good price, and boy, oh boy, I'm glad you got that. So, yeah, I've got a whole set of mobile antennas. They're Hustler type, and they're very narrow. They work real good, but very narrow, and I know that they were pretty expensive each. You're almost better to get something that's adjustable. I know there are different antennas that you can buy that you can move things, but it's a real pain to stop and change the bands like that, So, like Mark B3RYI, he had the right idea with 7100. He had the tuner, and he used to run that with a 102-inch chicken band whip, and then it had the ICOM tuner, which is rather expensive. but you know, it would tune up that antenna on whatever band he wanted, and if he went on the low bands, like 160, he could actually get it to tune 160, but we would have to attach a wire to the end of the whip and then throw the wire up over the tree, and he'd actually make that work on low bands, so work really good on low bands like that, but then you had to stop, you know. So, but anyway, so what band was that again? Was that you got that for over?
Sorry, Rick, I missed the question. What was the question again?
What band did you get that you call a ham stick? Was it? Is it an actual ham stick?
Yeah, I don't know the. Actually, I looked at the bottom. There was kind of a sticker on the bottom, pretty faded. I think it said Pro-Am. Now, I am familiar with that company, Pro-Am. I had bought a number of years ago when I was down in the U.S. On business. I picked up a dual band antenna for 2-meter and 440, and it was made by Pro-Am, so that's why I recognize that name. But the frequency that it covers is 40 meters. It's a 40-meter ham stick, and just one other thing, when I did the check on the analyzer, I was able to calculate the bandwidth, and at a level of 2 each way, it was 168 kilohertz wide. So that was pretty decent, I thought.
Yeah, that's probably pretty standard. Yeah, they're pretty narrow. You got to know exactly where you want to go. And even with these Hustler ones I've got, same thing. You know, very, very touchy when you get to the low bands, especially. So you know, about 10 meters, of course, is pretty good, pretty wide. Pro-Am, yeah, I'm sure I've got an antenna here that I picked up, and it's very unusual. I picked it up in Kitchener, and at the Ampest there, and I think that's where it was that I got it, and it was a 3-band. I couldn't believe it was 3-band. Yeah, okay. So it does 2 meters. It does 70 centimeters, and it does 10 meters. No kidding, it actually does. It's a little bit big for a 2-meter antenna. It's a little bit tall for that, but it actually does work on those bands. So, but I haven't used it because it catches too much wind, and I had it on a Magnum mount. So, yeah, it's one of those things that's in the shack that I should sell, I guess. But anyway, it'd probably be a really good antenna to put on a roof with ground planes or something like that, you know. Be a really good antenna for that. But anyway, it just got me thinking now, oh yeah, where could I use that? Oh yeah, I could put that in the ground outside, use it for 10 meters. Yeah, anyway, they're always bugging me about, get up the beam and get on 10 meters on a vertical, you know, so I can hear everybody else really good. But, no, anyway, that beam line works really good. And your fan dipole, of course, anybody that's listening, go to QRZ. Go to QRZ and look up VA3 Kilo Mike Quebec. VA3 Kilo Mike Quebec, and you want to see a great job on a fan dipole. You did a fantastic job on that. You still got that on QRZ there, haven't you, Mike? There, over?
Yeah, I do, Rick, and thank you for that. I appreciate that. It was fun building it. I started out with a 5-bander, the other one being 10 meters, which just didn't seem to cut it at all, so I decided to end up just to make it a 4-band for 80, 40, 20, and 17, and I chose 17 because the butternut vertical I have just perform on 17. The best SWR on that vertical I can get on 17 is about 3, maybe 3.2, and that's just the way it is. But anyway, yeah, fan dipole's been a good antenna for me, and yeah, I'm happy with it. Yeah, you were mentioning about, I think you said you had a ground plane antenna that was supposed to be a dual band 2 meter and 440, and that you could also supposedly work 10 on it. It just reminds me of the antenna I've got on my car presently that I like. It's a Comet. It's got a weird model number, CX2X or something. I'm not even going to try and describe the thing. It's a black antenna. It's a dual band, 2 meter and 440. But you know, the thing is, it will also resonate on 220. And I just found that out by accident. You know, I was playing around again with the Rig Expert analyzer that I have. Great tool, by the way. I love that thing. And lo and behold, it does, you know, from an analyzer point of view, it resonates well on 220, but it is not advertised as a 220 antenna at all, just a dual band. But, you know, that's the way sometimes, the way things shake out. They will work on some other bands. But anyway, that's the, I still have that, still use it to this day on my car, the passenger car that I have. Back to you there, Rick, V3BK, V3KMQ.
Yeah, okay, for anybody listening on YouTube, we're being streamed live by VA3, Charlie Juliet Zulu, and we're talking about different things. And before I let you go, Mike, you know, 220 is a multiple frequency, so, okay, I'll tell you what I do, and then I actually have a 5/8 vertical mobile antenna mounted on my tower with ground planes, and I use that to talk on 440. It doesn't work real good, but guess what? The SWR is flat, and that is because it's a, you know, it's a multiple frequency of 2 meters, so it does actually work, you know, it actually works. And so I haven't blown a radio or nothing like that by doing that, but it's, you know, it's not the best antenna for that. And that's exactly the same as the 10-meter antenna that the guys are using to talk on 10 meters. It's an antenna that came from 11 meters, and that with tuners, or with tuning the ring at the bottom, they can make that work on, you know, 10, 15, and 20, and they may have to use the tuner for some of it, but it actually works, and it even works on the workbands, but they got to use the tuner. And so some of the guys that haven't got a lot of room, they're putting that up and they're using it for 10 to 20. And it'll even tune up on 6 meters, I understand. And I've never done it, so I don't know for a fact, but for sure. But that's what they've reported. Different guys have reported that to me. So anyway, so that's something to think about. Okay, and the fan dipole, I got a story about the fan dipole. There was one call from DX Engineering, or DX, DX, I don't know the name of the company yet, but it's a DX antenna, and it's one that, it's a commercial antenna, and you pay quite a bit for it, and it has every band on it, radium to 160, and anyway, because we put it on a city lot, we had to do away with a long section on one side, and so we made a dipole and we grounded it to the tower, so the tower became the other side of part of it, and we grounded it to the tower. We ran the 160 length actually went over a neighbor's tree, and this was, he's now a silent key, but DWJ, V3DWJ, we did that for him, and we put the short end down towards his neighbor's fence, and anyway, it actually worked. It actually worked, and that was a fan dipole that we took stuff off and made it work there. So you know, in a small city lot, so there's all different things that you can do to make antennas work. That was a commercial antenna that was quite expensive, actually. I think I don't know if you know the one I'm talking about there, Mike. Anyway, it's DX something. I forget what comes after the DX, but basically it was a fan dipole. Over.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about, and I'm not 100% sure. I think DXCC enters my mind. I don't know. I've got that mixed up with awards or something, but I do know there is a commercially built fan dipole that. That's the one you're talking about. But, you know, it's interesting, Rick. You know, sometimes all the equations and the rules and what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do with antennas, sometimes, you know, just being creative and maybe even breaking those rules sometimes you know, they'll work. And, you know, it's worth a shot, right? You got to work with what you got, whether it's, you know, a small lot or what have you. And, you know, there's some people, unfortunately, they have HOA rules, especially stateside, and, you know, you got to work around that if you're able to. So, yeah, creativity is, I guess, part of the equation, so to speak, as well. Okay, listen, Rick, I won't hold it. Good talking to you, first of all, as always. Thank you for doing the net. I'll let you carry on and see if there's anybody else out there who would like to jump in and join the net here, but I'll be listening along for a little bit, but I will pass along 73 to you. VA3BK, VA3KMQ.
VA3KMQ, VA3BK. Okay, 72 there, Mike, and good talking to you. And antennas, we could talk about that forever, and you're exactly right. No one antenna works good for everybody, and it all depends on what's in your backyard, like or the side of your house. And I've seen 2-meter antenna made out of junk, and it worked perfect. So there you go. You never know. That was on a field day, believe it or not, and I couldn't believe it actually worked, but it worked beautifully. So there you go. Great SWR and everything. So, okay, let's carry on here, and anybody, anywhere is welcome on this net. We moved to 7150, so our friends south of the border can join in on the net, because you do not have to be a member to get in on this net. We're here every Monday night, the Hamilton Amateur Radio Club, Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, and we're at the west end of Lake Ontario. So anybody, anywhere, this is V3 Bravo Kilowatt. Please go now.
Victor Echo 3, Charlie Sierra Yankee.
Okay, there's V3 Charlie Sugar Yankee. And how are you doing there, Paul there? And I heard you perfect this time. Sometimes I get noise in there, and the link showed I was listening to you on the SDR, but I can probably get you better locally here. I'll try it next go around. Anyway, so what have you been up to? V3CSY from V3BK.
Whatever transmitter you are on, an antenna, you're very strong. You're a few ticks over S9, a bit unusual for you, so clap, kudos, keep up the good work. I haven't been doing much ham-related stuff. My present project, what I'm focusing on the most, is completing my portable power station. Back to you, Rick. I'll be listening along till the end. VA3CJZ. Good evening, everyone.
Okay, can you repeat your project there? It faded out on me just when you said that word.
I am building my own portable power station.
All right, power station. Okay, portable power station. Beautiful. Okay, well you gotta give Chuck kudos there too. He's on running battery power, and that reminds me of what we did at work. You know, ran battery power being charged. The batteries are being charged, but he's also added solar panel into the mix to keep those batteries charged. So that is something good. That's probably something I could do. Too, I have battery backup, but I could actually transmit with that battery because I've actually done it before, and nobody could tell the difference one way or the other. I didn't have to lower the power, and if you leave the charger on, as long as you don't talk for a long time, you're okay. Anyway, so your power station, yeah, I haven't been doing too much in ham radio either. Yeah, that's the way it goes. It goes in stages, I think. Anyway, so the power station, what do you actually describe it to us there, Paul? Over.
Well, first of all, I am looking forward to Canada Day. I always participate in the contest on Canada Day, and because we're Canadian and they give us preferential treatment for one thing. But that's the big day for me, as far as ham radio is concerned. Power station is because I don't have 120 volts available to me anywhere but inside my place here. So there's nothing in the block or anywhere else. So building a power station so that I can run 120 volts, say vacuum cleaners and buffers and things like that in the field without having to have the graciousness of a host, namely my brother the last time around. So this thing is going to have a 1,000-watt inverter, and it will have 3,700-watt reserve capacity in kilowatt hours. What else do you want to know?
Oh, that's impressive. That's impressive. Yeah, an inverter. Made yourself. That is impressive, Paul. Hey, well, that keeps your mind working there. After you're retired, you always have to have something to keep you going there, over.
I really believe that's true for everybody. It's always good to have something to look forward to, a project, whether it's short-term, medium-term, or long-term goals, or have all three. I think it's so important for our own mental health, and physical health goes along with that, to always have something to do and something to look forward to. Anyway, I believe you there. And the power station is more self-preservation than anything else. This way, when I have this, I won't be dependent on others. And it gives me a reserve in the apartment here in case of a power failure. I can plug that in and run computers or whatever else I need to do. So it suits my purposes. And because I didn't pay for the inverter, I already had that. And I didn't pay for the charger unit for this. I already have that. That saved me $600 right there. I've spent $650 basically on the batteries and all the other bits and pieces needed, including an enclosure box for it. So there you go. I did it on the cheap because I had the inverter and the charger. That's the bottom line here. Back to you.
Yeah, that sounds like me. You make do with what you got. Yeah. It's nice to have a store-bought antenna, say, but, sometimes when you got all those pieces of wire, boy, oh boy, I reclaimed tons of wire, so, it was right up my alley to make antennas and stuff with different wire I had, and, one thing I discovered about antennas, too, is I'd splice the wire, and people said, oh, no, that won't work, you're going to have a fluctuation there or a spot, whatever, made no difference. So, one thing we did I did out of the contest site was we had, I think it was 16 gauge wire, and I had lots of it, but they were in pieces. So I put them all together and made an antenna, and it worked perfect. So there you go. Anyway, well, thanks for that. And Paul, that's good. Your signal here, by the way, 2 years old, 5/9, and I can listen to you on my own antenna. Too, no problem there at all. You're way above my noise level, so that is great. Anyway, so you got anything else here for us, Paul? And it's always great to have a project like that, over?
Oh, I've always got some projects on the build. I never have just one. I have 3 or 4 others in various stages of completion. Anyway, carry on. Mike's signal is really good tonight, too. I was shocked to hear him clear as a bell. Usually he's in the muck. For me, anyway. Carry on. VA3CJZ.
Okay, very good. And yeah, there seemed to be some noise in the background, but I think maybe we're getting some DX coming in or something. Maybe the van's going along. I don't know. Anyway, I just changed over here, so we'll carry on. And what time is it getting to be? Yeah, we got 20 minutes to go before 9 o'clock, so we got lots of time for anybody that wants to say a story or whatever. Well, first of all, we'll see if anybody else is in there listening. And I know that somebody was going to be in on the 2-meter side on Echolink, but I never heard of him. So you never know who's going to show up. And any of our friends south of the border, if you can hear us on a 40-meter band, you're more than welcome to join in as well. So this is V3 Bravo Kilowatt, Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Anybody wants to check into that, please go now. Okay, Paul, have you got any other radios on in the background?
Do I have any other radios on? I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question. Could you repeat?
Okay, have you got any other radios on in the background that could have come in with you? Otherwise, I think it was maybe some DX coming in on this frequency there. Over.
No, I have the other radio running, but I have both bands, the volume turned down. I always do when I'm operating on HF. I just turn the volume down. They're not receiving anything anyway. So, sorry, it's not me.
Okay, well, you're coming in super strong, and no, I heard some noise in the background. I think it could have been some DX coming in, or there was maybe somebody else tuning up there. So if somebody else is out there wants to join in, please go now. No, nothing heard. Okay, let's go to the YouTube stream and go to Chuck and see how we're doing on there. Chuck, what's happening?
VA3CJZ here, and hello to Paul. He was coming in great over to my location. Also 5 over S9. Really nice copy on Paul tonight. And maybe I'll explain my power station that I have now. First of all, I've got a power distribution center that takes 12 volts in and has 8 plug-ins that are fused for various things such as radios and the like. And I also have a meter in line that tells me all the information about my battery. And so I have my choice of 30 amp hour battery or a 50 amp hour battery. And of course, it has a solar panel in line hooked up to a brand new solar panel I just got and put up about a little over a week ago. And man, is it ever yielding some great power now that the sun is out. And of course, I've got a plug-in-the-wall charger for when there's no sun available. And so, yeah, I'm quite happy with this. I'm not relying on hardly any hydro for my station, so that's really cool.
Oh, yeah, sounds like it's set up pretty good. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, that makes me want to run off the battery here. Maybe things would be a little bit quieter. Who knows? Anyway, I think a lot of my noise is from the big high tension lines that are right on the street beside me here. But you know, late at night and early in the morning, it's really good. Also, hey, I was talking to Tom today. V3MQ. He is out camping, hasn't got the HF set up, but he's got his cell phone with him, and he said he was going to check in on Echolink to the 2-meter stream, which he could have done, but maybe he didn't figure it out, or maybe forgot, maybe got involved with something else. But he was telling me about a 2-meter net, 2-meter sideband on Saturday morning. So if anybody's interested in that, 144-205, 144-205, but he wasn't sure of the exact time, whether it was 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. But it's a Saturday morning, so if you're really interested, you can get up and monitor that frequency for a while. Okay, anyway, it's good, Chuck. Good, Chuck. Anybody else on the YouTube stream or any more about your setup there? Over.
At 8:30, Victor Alpha 3, Indy Mike Whiskey. Good evening.
Oh, we got Mac in there.
Stand by for a minute. We'll take VA3, Indy Mike Whiskey. Anything with whiskey, and it's good there, eh? Hey, Mac, V3 whiskey is good, always checks in, and whiskey is good. What do you got for IM whiskey?
We also have Victor Echo 3 uniform whiskey. If you're going to have whiskey, it's good if it's uniform, evenly dispersed. Anyways, yes, the Burlington Club does this sideband net. I don't know if it's really sponsored by the Burlington Club, but I think you described the frequency, but it starts at an ungodly hour on Saturday morning at 8:30. So for us working guys, that precious time between 5 a.m. and 10 a.m. is where you get to go back to sleep after your morning constitutional. So yeah, they should move that for sure. But yeah, 8:30 in the morning.
Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, well, lots of times I get up when I used to get up for work every day and do my constitutional thing and exactly go back to sleep for an hour or more. So yeah, 8:30 in the morning on a Saturday, that's kind of early, but that's what he was talking about, I guess. He didn't have all the details. I don't know where he heard that. Over.
Yep. So check in with the live stream on Wednesday evenings at 7:30. Chris, VA3RWJ runs the Burlington Amateur Radio Club net, and I am very, very sure that's where I've heard of this sideband 2-meter net. So yeah, I'm going to set an alarm Saturday and see if I can hear that. I do have some other plans for this weekend, so I'm going to have to be up and moving around at that point in time. Anyways, lots of fun on 6 meters. It's open tonight. And you know what? If I can hear 6-meter stuff going on with my 40-meter end wire, obviously it must be very open.
Yeah, well, Larry, V3LRL was talking about that, and yeah, so it's been pretty good. Hey, and by the way, Mac, you're coming in here beautiful there, about 5 over 9 on my own antenna. I hear you perfect, better than the SDR there, so that's, I don't always hear you that good there, over.
Well, band conditions being as they may, yeah, it's all good. You're also, I think you're about 10 over there last time I looked at the meter.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, anyway, yeah, I was talking to Ernie. He hasn't got his radio on again. So, if you're on a boat and you can stop by there maybe. But he was out in a boat when I called him, so you never know where he's going to be. He'd have to phone first. But anyway, so he hasn't been checking into Chuck's net there on Wednesday night for a while. And I don't know whether he's really worried about it or not, but it seems like a waste to have all those radios sitting on the table there. And but he has played with his walkie-talkie, and he checked in. I guess I don't know if you were there, but I think Chuck was there. On ZOE, he checked in with his walkie-talkie there one time. So he's still playing radio. Anyway, is it VA3 Mike Whiskey, or is it it's V3 Mike Whiskey, I think. V3 Bravo Kilowatt.
I'm one of those guys that has dual personality, so you can call me Victor Echo 3 Uniform Whiskey, but my old self is Victor Alpha 3 India Mexico Whiskey. Either way, I'm the same guy. Anyways, Rick, there's my bean for the pot, and keep up the good work, my friend. All the best to you and yours, and time for me to get motoring along. Tomorrow's another work day, as such. I'll bid you 7-3s. Chuck, thanks for streaming this one, and hope I didn't throw you too much of a curveball tonight. Maybe I misunderstood what you said yesterday. All the best, guys.
Okay, well, thanks for being there, Mac, and anyway, thanks for streaming the 2 meters. That is pretty good when I found out they were doing that. There's probably a couple of people that don't like that. And I couldn't believe it on a Monday night net there. I had a couple of people that, they used to, we were streaming a long time ago there. And, there was a couple of people who would not check in because they didn't want to be on the YouTube stream. So that's kind of weird, But I think that's a good benefit of amateur radio. We use the internet for Echolink and All-Star and all kinds of stuff, DMR. So why not, It's good, and we've also had a few new types pick us up, and then they've come back and announced their call sign, that they've got their call sign, so that is great. And when we get a guy from Japan checking in, which I can't remember his call right now, I'd have to go back to my book here and look. 80 Japan 3 Fox November Mike has checked in from Japan, so that is fantastic. It's early in the morning too for him, so for him to check in with us is super good. Anyway, so thanks for anything else there, Mac, before you go there. Go ahead.
Well, I think not. Just a quick note, there was a Kilowatt Mike 3 something. A gentleman that did check in on YouTube while streaming the Hamilton Amateur Radio Club net. So you are getting some additional coverage. And if this is brought up as a problem when you guys have your meeting, then just let me know. You don't have to hire a lawyer for a cease and desist order. And I'll have a quick offline chat with Chuck just to make sure that he's okay with streaming the Lake Ontario Radio Club net on Monday nights, since he's already the net controller. I'll carry on with the regular stuff that I do Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and I've also set up my system so I can stream Chris's net on Wednesday evening at 7:30, the Burlington Amateur Radio Club net. So we'll give everybody a little bit of airplay and see what happens. It's all about getting it out there and making sure that the next generation learns about the hobby, and we can bring some new members to this avid, habitually addictive hobby. So anyways, there you go. Thanks again for doing this one, Rick. All the best in 7.3s to everybody listening.
Okay, very good, and thanks for doing that, and there's no problems. As far as I know, I'm on the executive, and most of the guys on the executive now are younger generation, so they all like it. So that's great there, Mac. Keep up the good work. Okay, let's see if there's anybody else out there before we get to the top of the hour. We're getting closer, 5 minutes ago. This is VA3 Bravo Kilowatt. We're looking for check-ins on the Monday night HF net on 40 meters. Anybody south of the border too is also welcome. Anybody on YouTube, you can go in the chat box and chat with VA3, Charlie Whiskey Mike. That's Chuck. Anyway, this is VA3 Bravo Kilowatt. Anybody else, go ahead. Check-ins, but at least we're getting quality check-ins, Chuck there. So we had anybody else, that guy from Colin from the UK, that was fantastic. He came in there, and also the other guy that's in Ohio there. Is there anybody else there chatted with you? Over?
Oh, you caught me off guard there, Rick. Yeah, actually, it's been fairly quiet. I've noticed we get more people tuning in once we migrate to 10 meters. That's what I found. So, but we still got people watching. One person just joined us from Japan, it looks like. Juliet 4, Fox Oscar. So I think that's the call, but that's in his name. It says Bert Hurst. Hello, Bert. It says Bert Hurst, Calgary. If that's where you are in Calgary, I know that very well. Nice place. And that's about it as far as new people there, Rick. And Mac, if you're still listening, I think that's a great idea. You know, I can take over the stream for Monday night and give you a break, and you can pick up the rest. And you know, I take care of Wednesday as well for the AREGnet. And Rick, I think it's a great idea to help promote the Hamilton Amateur Radio Club to have Mac stream it on Monday nights. And you know, if you want to bring in people from outside the area and they can enjoy these things, as well as the perks, the use of uh, the remote there. I think you guys discussed that last week. So all these things will help bring people in and be more interested in the Hamilton Amateur Radio Club. Over to you.
Yeah, Roger. And there's also, you know, like most people have internet access, and they can also go on HamiltonARC.com and check out what's going on with the club. And, you know, there's all kinds of clubs too, Hamilton, and, you know, other parts of Canada, also many in the U.S. There's lots of websites that help ham radio operators with antennas or any kind of project that you can think of, you know. And that project Paul's got, that's a fantastic project to do, you know, to do too, as well as what you're doing there, Chuck. So anyway, we're getting close to the hour, so we're almost at that time. We're going to say last call for 40 meters, and see if there's anybody else in there. I know Whiskey is Good was gonna check and see if you could hear me, and also VA3TAC. Also, I guess the band conditions just aren't there. But anyway, if anybody's out there wants to check in, please go now. We're going to get more and more people listening on the YouTube stream probably, and HF, eventually it's going to go that way. I think probably, maybe, us diehards are going to keep it going, but, I think maybe there won't be as many people on it now, and there's not as much interest in contesting as there used to be. And now our flea markets are going down too. So, that's probably the name of the game as things go on. We're more into digital and other modes there as well. So, the YouTube stream is a great idea, and the All-Star is a great thing, and so is Echolink. Echolink started, I guess, quite a while ago, and the All-Star is even better. So, and also the DMR, with private conversations and stuff that Al was telling me about. So anyway, we're getting there at the end. Okay, this is definitely a last call for 40 meters, anybody, anywhere. And then we're going to go to 10 meters, 28, 485. Anybody on the YouTube stream, you can just stay there and Chuck will do the magic. So anybody, anywhere, V3 Bravo Kilowatt in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Okay, nothing heard. Okay, we'll see you guys over on 28, 485. Anybody wants to join us there, it's not a net over there. We just talk about anything, antennas, and whatever comes to mind. So, this is V3 Bravo Kilowatt. We're going to choose one of the 28, 485. V3 Bravo Kilowatt. Maybe just move the beam a little bit there. I don't know why I pause there or not already, and I think I got a move from it now, and if they come in there. So we'll see who shows up here. This is VA3 Bravo Kilowatt. On 28, 485. Okay, we'll wait for a little while. I think I probably got to tune his radio, and we'll see if Chuck made it over here, and if anybody else made it over here. So, it sounds like I'm getting a little bit of RF in my signal here. I might have to turn it down if I get it too bad. V3 Bravo Kilowatt.
VA3CJZ, I made it here too.
Okay, 20 over, and I just turned my compression off. How does the audio sound?
Yeah, that's much better there, Rick. How's mine?
Perfect. Sounds real good. In fact, I probably turned my volume down a little bit. I think I had it a little bit high for. Anyway, it sounds real good. So you didn't take any length of time. I guess you're tuned to that new antenna. Just boom, tuned up like that.
As a matter of fact, when you first came on and you gave your call sign out, I hit the tune button. So yeah, pretty quick.
Oh yeah. Well, tell us what kind of auto tuner have you got? What kind of setup have you got there? So the auto tuner is right before the antenna, right?
Actually, this is built into the radio. This is the Yaesu FTX -1, and it has a built-in tuner.
Oh, yeah, well, most radios do today, but I found the external tuners actually do a better job, at least I think. The manual tuner usually does a better job. But if it's close, the internal tuner is the way to go.
Yeah, well, it used to be that they weren't very reliable, the ones that were in the radios, but they've since upgraded their equipment. And of course, this is an SDR transceiver, and it's all, got a lot of bells and whistles, and the tuner that's built right in works great.
Oh, yeah. Okay, tell me something. You got to lower your power right when you use the tuner internal.
As a matter of fact, the radio automatically switches to CW and goes down to 5 watts when it when it tunes up there, Rick. Everything's automatic.
Wow, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Well, I quite often tune up using the RTTY because it's very narrow and I've done it right on frequency and people haven't noticed. But anyway, yeah, I won't tell you what I did with the 735. What I did with the 735 was probably illegal, but anyway, it was great to tune up with that. He's very fast. You could tune up pretty quick.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised. I even actually, I can automatically, even if I automatically change to AM, the radio automatically switches to CW and lowers the power to 5 watts, no matter how many watts I'm pushing out. So pretty good stuff. I think you're at least 20 over there. I know you were on 40 meters, but I was oh, I got the amp on too. That's why.
Oh yeah, well, I'm not really pointed right at you, but I'm almost pointed at you. So yeah, you'd be in the front of the beam anyway, and I'm doing horizontal. So the 25 dB when we're this close, it doesn't really make much difference.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of lowering my power down. I don't need 100 watts for local here. I wonder if Paul or anyone else has joined us. This is VA3CJZ. I'm going to lower my power now.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody else has joined us. Anyway, the reason I usually run it full tilt is, in case somebody comes in from up the mountain or whatever, sometimes they can't hear you. And I know VA3CP used to come in with low power, and I had a heck of a time hearing them. And if you upped it to 100, I could hear them perfect. But anyway, it doesn't really matter too much. It doesn't do the radio any harm. But if you go by the rules, which hardly anybody reads them anymore, if you go by the rules, they do it to get their ticket maybe. Anyway, you're supposed to go with the lowest power that people can hear you with.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. I knew that, Rick. It's been brought up a couple of times. But anyways, yeah, I lowered my power now down to 85% or 85 watts, and shouldn't make any difference on the signal to you. I would not think. So yeah, we still got people listening to us on the YouTube stream there, Rick, and not a high demand tonight, but that's okay.
Oh yeah, well, I think that during the summer, maybe it may get worse. You know, whatever, people outside doing their own thing, or they're at the beach, or they're at the campsite, whatever, you know. Anyway, I'm surprised Tom didn't come in there, especially when he said he was going to come in on the 2-meter side through Aqualink, and I think that'd be with his phone. And I know Renzo, well, we were testing the Aqualink on Renzo's phone, and it worked beautiful. So, you know, like, I haven't heard Renzo in a while, but the one thing wrong with the Aqualink on the phone is nobody can call the people on the phone, but they can call anybody if they turn it on, you know. So that's the only thing with Aqualink. But anyway, yeah, well, see there. You know, like, yeah, Mike was talking about antennas that, you know, shouldn't work or don't work, and that's it on a city lot. Like, look at Kevin, your neighbor Kevin. He's run wires all the way around his house, and he used really thin wire and made a loop, and that loop it just worked perfect. And I mean, you know, he's going beside the eavesdrop and everything else. So you know, you'd think you maybe have trouble, but that all depends on the situation, you know. So you know, antennas are a funny thing.
Yeah, Rick, you know, my first antenna that I put up, excuse me, maybe, well, it was probably the vertical, the IMAX 2000 there, but the first wire antenna I put up was the off center fed dipole with a 4-to-1 balun, and that's when I found out that in the city, it doesn't matter what you do to your antenna. If you got noise, you've got noise. And so after fussing with it over and over and over again, I decided to just leave it. And you know what? When I put up a center-fed dipole, the same thing. So that's when I knew that, you know, this area was prone to a higher level of noise than I was accustomed to. And you just learn to live with it. You know, and it depends on what band, of course, right? So yeah, but now I'm quite happy with my fully enclosed G5RV. It's working great. And I forgot to ask Mac earlier. I didn't get a chance. Uh, his was on back order. He ordered the same antenna as I have from the same place, and it was on back order. And they were supposed to ship it to him, um, so he should be getting it. So I can't wait to hear him on that antenna. But he was coming in really good tonight, though. Back to you.
Yeah, that was probably all to do with conditions, and you know, yeah. Hey, I'll be really interested to hear him on that antenna, because I think he'll get a lot better with that antenna than he did with long wire. You know, the long wires can be directional, and not always the direction you think. You know, like you'd think they'd talk off the side, wouldn't you? But sometimes they talk off the end, and you know, like the same thing with listening antennas. You know, they what's the right word for them? Anyway, we had one set up out at the a contest site, and you gotta watch. You gotta terminate the listening antenna and make sure you don't transmit on it. But you had to terminate it so that it would listen off the sides and more omnidirectional. Otherwise, it was off the end, and you know, off one direction off the end. Not very good. Not very good. So that's a Babbage antenna. That's what they call that. And we tried different Babbage antennas out there, and they got knocked down by snowmobiles and you know, during the winter and stuff like that. We ended up putting one up because we had the poles that were 5 feet. So we had it 5 feet above the ground, and which was actually pretty darn good, you know. So beverage antennas, they work, and the latest beverage antenna I heard about, which apparently you could transmit off this one too, is one that's mounted right on the ground, and you feed it off the corner, and it's a loop, and you put it around the whole backyard on the ground. But you got to watch once the grass grows and all that other stuff. It actually gets covered up, and it wouldn't work as good, I don't think, because it's actually taking on a ground effect. But when it's laying on the grass, it works really good. It's a quiet antenna, especially for two reasons. One, it's a loop, and for two, it's low and it's not picking up very much at all. So there's my dog in the background. You can hear him.
Yeah, Rick, there's a guy in New Jersey, excuse me, NJ2US. His name is Jeff, and he's got a couple of beverage antennas, and man, they work great. And I'm not sure if he has one he transmits on, but I do know he's got two of them, and he's been doing some work recently. So the guy has phenomenal ears, and he's in a pine forest in New Jersey there. So yeah, I've heard of them.
Well, you're talking about city noise. Okay, before I go on, anybody else around? Anybody else want to get in here? Go ahead.
Victor Echo 3, Quebec uniform.
Yeah, I hear him, but I'm not pointing the right way. Who is that?
That's Victor Echo 3, Quebec uniform. Scott. Good evening, Scott.
Yeah, how you doing, Scott?
Oh, we doubled. Go ahead again, Scott.
I say, who is that? That's not Mark, is it?
Negative. This is Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet Zulu, along with Victor Echo 3, Bravo Kilowatt.
Hello, Chuck. How are you? And who else is in there?
Rick.
Yeah, I can hear Rick. He's just not hearing me. Tell him I got my antenna up probably another 6 inches, but it's going to go up higher as soon as I get some what do you call it, muffler clamps, and I can I'll probably have like 20 feet higher.
Hey, Chuck, see if you can hear me.
All right. Well, yeah, I think he said he can hear you, Rick, but you can't hear him.
Well, I hear him. I can hear him.
Oh, okay. I tell Rick I got him at S5. He's a strong S5.
Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, okay. I didn't hear every word, but I was flicking my switch here, seeing if I could pick you up on the other antenna, which I was picking you up on the other antenna better before. But anyway, I turned the beam a little bit, so you're coming in here pretty good. And last time I talked to you there, Scott, you couldn't hear me at all. But I think band conditions are a little bit better. So if I can't hear every word, maybe Chuck will hear you better there. I think he's closer to you. Anyway, V3QU from V3BK. Go ahead.
Yeah, V3.
Oh.
He's down by where Kevin is. What was I just going to say? I was just talking in North Carolina, South Carolina. They're just a little bit down the band. I told them to, if they weren't busy, I'd come up and say hello to us up here. So if any of them pop in there, we'll try to leave some gaps in the conversation there. But they said I was. They said I was coming in S3, S4, but my audio was blowing the heck out of them. So I like the sound of that.
Yeah, okay, Chuck, you're gonna have to relay. I didn't get every word he said there. Yeah, I'm hearing you, but yeah, I guess I'm just not understanding there. Over.
Not a problem, Rick. Not a problem.
Yeah, Rick, he was just saying he made contact with some guys not too far up the band and told them if they wanted to come by and try and say hi here, that they're welcome to do so. And he said he was making some contacts down in the States, not very strong, but he said he got compliments on strong audio. Back to you.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I can see somebody there around 400, or I don't know where they are, but they're lower down that, and somebody's talking there. So I don't know what it is, but that was just a little while ago, was it, Scott?
Roger. Actually, these guys are on about 28385. They're in around that area. They're about 100 kc down, and no, those guys were doing really well up here. They're about a 7 to a 7.5. But the band seemed to be really good. He said that he was talking up into Michigan, the guy that was in the south, just above Florida there. He said he was in South Carolina, and he said he was just pretty close to the border of Florida and in South Carolina there. And he said that he was talking to a guy in Michigan, and he said that he was doing really well. He has exactly the same radio as me, the 710 there, over.
Yeah, that's fantastic you're hearing them guys. Yeah, well, I got one signal here that's a little above us, or lower in frequency. I'm not sure who that is, but that could be something. And I'm not even picking you up on my scope. You don't show on the scope at all, but I can hear you. And I have preamp 1 on, so that I could probably put on preamp 2. There's really in low noise floor today, so that would help out quite a bit. But anyway, you're coming in really good considering there, Scott, over.
Oh, thank you, Rick. I appreciate that, considering we weren't able to talk before over there, over.
Okay, what was the report again?
You're doing probably S3 to S5 here tonight.
Okay, well, you're doing, let's see, 3S units with preamp 1 on. I tried preamp 2, it doesn't help much. It brings up the noise too. But anyway, yeah, so the fact that you're moving my needle is fantastic. Anyway, so I got you in here. So anyway, and field day, did you ever get a hold of anybody about field day there, over?
I haven't yet. No, I gotta get a hold of somebody and find out what's happening. Maybe we should get do you know who the field day coordinator is this year?
Yeah, it's what's his name? VA3SPN, Spencer. Yeah, he's a coordinator, but if you want to email president@hamiltonarc.com. So that's president@hamiltonarc.com. Get your name put on the list there if you're going to be there. They're going to be in Sheffield on a farm. So it's one of Peter's buddies, and he said last week they had a car show there. He's got lots of big lawn, big backyard kind of thing, and so lots of room to put up antennas, trees to put antennas up and everything. So it's a good setup there, over.
Oh, that sounds great. I'll mention it to Andy as well, and see if he wants to come out as well. And it would be great to see him. I haven't seen him in quite some time there. Back to you there, Rick, and then we'll kick it over to one of the other guys there.
Yeah, me neither. I haven't seen Andy for a while. I exchange emails. He was in that CQWPX. CW, of course he was in it. It was the CW when he was in that, and I don't know whether he turned his log in or not. I have turned his login before for him because he used Raylog, but this time he would be using a remote, so I don't know what he's doing with that, and he was using N1MM. I find that one kind of busy, but he's been using it, so I don't know whether he bothered. Sometimes he just gets on there and have fun. He doesn't worry about the score there, over.
Yeah, Roger. I know Andy just jumps in there, wants to fly off a few contacts for the guys, and I think, as I said, the seriousness we had was always out at the contest site when we could, he put the radio on automatic and started sending out the call sign, and then if somebody came back to it, he'd fist back to them there, over.
Oh yeah, amazing. Hey, I've turned my beam just a little bit and you came in better. I don't believe it. You're coming in super tonight. Okay, let's see if anybody else is out there wants to join us, and we're streaming live. VA3 Charlie Juliet Zulu, and on YouTube, and we're streaming live too, so anybody that wants to see if the 10-meter band really is open. And did you say North Carolina?
Yeah, North Carolina, South Carolina, these guys were in both states.
Yeah, that's pretty damn good. Anyway, I wonder if anybody else, I saw somebody tuning up or something here. Anybody else wants to join in, please go now.
Yeah, good evening, everyone on this band, VA3CJZ.
Yeah, all right, so say hi to Scott. Scott's in there. I can actually hear him pretty good tonight.
Yeah, Scott's very, very, very loud to me down here, like extremely loud. He's got good signal, of course, 9S units. He's on par with your signal strength. Yeah, Scott, if you could, forget adjusting the radio. If you could just talk in a lower tone and talk a little quieter, it probably would help without adjusting anything.
All right, I can do that. Is that better?
Oh, like 100%.
Okay. I don't know. I think when I get this headset on, sometimes I want to scream into it and pretend I'm doing DX like the old days. Aye.
Well, look, having strong audio for DX is exactly what you want, but you're just chatting with the boys here. We're all local, and it becomes tiresome to the hearing when it's really cranked up. Now, I know Rick's got a problem, so you may have to go back to doing that again, but for Chuck and I, wow, you're feeling pain over here.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I got a problem. Hey, anyway, Scott, you can always go boom, boom, boom.
We could do that.
Yeah, you remember that? And that was the Princes of Saudi Arabia or something?
Yes, that was hilarious. I'll tell you this story really quick here. I was calling this one contact, or actually no, she was coming back to me when we were doing the contest. I had her call, no problem. She had the heck of a time getting ours. So I'm trying to give her every phonetic possible. Delta, Charlie, direct current, dead chicken. So when I did dead chicken, that one hit the fan. Apparently some guy down, I think he was down east, wasn't he, Rick?
Yeah, he was the East Coast. I know his call sign. He's up here in Ontario now, and he's associated with RAC. Yeah, I got no respect for that guy.
Oh, please. Give me his information, and I hope he shows up at a flea market, and I'll go up and I'm going to kick him right in the crotch.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, I could look him up and give you his call sign now. It's different. It's not CB anymore. He used to be what? What was he? V9 or V0 CB? I forget. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, but anyway, the guy's up here. He's one of the directors at RAC, believe it or not.
Oh yeah, that's funny. Over to you, Chuck.
All right, very good. Just sitting here listening and watching the stream there, and yeah, your audio is a lot better. No need to shout when we're all close by. And your signal went up, by the way, Scott. Earlier in the beginning, you were an S3. Now you're an S5. And so when I turned the amp on, you shot right up to S9, and I'm like, S9? So I turned the amp off, and now you're a respectable S5 there. So that's uh, I don't know what happened, but two S units, that's good.
I have to find the amp controls on my 710. I have yet to find them. I got to go into the manual, and when I first bought this radio, I had it all. I learned the radio in about a week. All the stuff I needed to learn anyway, and then I forgot it. And now, my short-term memory kind of went way as a dodo. So now I have to look up everything I want to do and on the radio and anytime I want to use it, but not with all things. So that's always a good thing. So I'll have to find the preamp on this.
Four S units here.
Oh yeah, S4 over to Rick now. So yeah, I had to shorten my span earlier on my waterfall just to see your signal, Scott. At the very beginning there, you were not registering at all on the waterfall, just like Rick. So I tried narrowing my scope and got you on there. So. Anyways, I want to say good evening to Paul, and just wanted to mention I was looking at inverters. That's going to be the next thing that I'm going to add to my self-sufficient power source here. And I had my eye on a 500, but they do recommend to go a little higher. But they get a little pricey, so you gotta shop for deals. And an inverter is not something that I'll be using a lot, but when the power does go down, it sure comes in handy. Over to you, Paul.
Yeah, good evening, Chuck. Inverters. So, first of all, you can have more than one. There's no law that says, hey, you can't have more than one. I have a bunch of inverters, Chuck. I have a couple of 300-watt inverters that'll do 240 watts continuous. They're very small and efficient, and I use them for charging my phone and running small appliances like the TV in here. It only takes 30 watts. I can run my laptop and some other things. So you can get small inverters to run things that don't require big power. The 1,000-watt inverter that I had that you heard me mention was something that I just had sitting around that I used to use and had no use for anymore. So that's going to go into my portable power station and give me at least 1,000 watts on the plug. But that's not something I'll be using a lot at all. It'll be charged and kind of ready to go when I need remote power in the field. So it depends on what you want to do with regard to backing up stuff with batteries. And how much power you're going to use. And like I said, you could get a small one and a big one. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. Some of the smaller ones, the 300-watt ones I have, got them in Canadian Tire on sale, $18. Back to you, Chuck.
18 bucks. Wow, really, eh? And do you recommend getting the ones that are sine wave or no?
Well, there's a lot of controversy about that. Sine wave is pure power. Some electronics and some audio equipment doesn't like the what they call the simulated sine wave. That's what mine are. They're all simulated sine waves, stepped sine waves, and they don't have any problem running anything I've ever plugged into them. Mostly for noise, like audio noise and things like that. You wouldn't want to run a stereo off that. You'd want a pure sine wave inverter for that. But yeah, I wouldn't worry about that, Chuck. They're usually more money, and they're more prone to failure, believe it or not. They're twice as likely to break down than a non-sinusoidal inverter.
Oh, okay. That's really good information. Thank you. Yeah, so what is it? I saw one, I think it was a 500 for 80 something dollars. And then of course, so yeah, considering what I want to run off of it, uh, so that's good. A small one can run quite a few things, like a 300, like you said, or a 500. So yeah, very good. Well, thank you, Paul. That helps with making a decision on what to get. And let's see what else. Yeah, really enjoying the new G5 RV. And as my neighbor mentioned, it's almost invisible because the ladder line is 300 instead of the 450, and the copper is brand new on the legs for north and south, and so they virtually disappear in the sky. So and Mac VA3IMW ordered the same one from the same place, GPS Central, and it should be arriving tomorrow, or unless he's got it already. But it was on back order, and he got the word the other day that it was being shipped. So I'm sure he'll be happy with that.
Well, we'll have to see. You probably know that I'm not a big fan of any G5 RV. The 300 ohm twin lead works in the dry pretty well, but when it rains and it gets wet and soaked on the outside, then the losses shoot up to the moon. So you could say I'm not a big fan of that antenna in particular, but I'm happy that the one that you got's less conspicuous because, I don't know, antennas are just ugly. You don't want to piss the neighbors off, right? So anything to make it look better is always a good thing. Nice radio, of course, you have modulation and everything else is like just par excellence. So, yeah. Everything's coming up roses for you this year as well. Back to you, Chuck.
Yeah, pretty happy about my purchase. I mean, it was a large purchase, especially for me. I'm always broke. And yeah, finally pulled the trigger, got something that was uh, very high end for me. Uh, it's not like those kind of radios like Mark has and things like that, but it's Yaesu's newest and brightest SDR transceiver, so I'm pretty happy about that. And by the way, Paul, the G5RV that I have is a completely enclosed unit. The whole thing is enclosed. There is no connections, no bare connections exposed to the air. As a matter of fact, the twin lead uh, is woven straight into the RG8X coax. It comes with 50 feet of that, and it's shrink wrapped where it's connected there, and even at the top where the legs are, the connections are buried inside those bone insulators, dog bone insulators. So should resist the water pretty good, but we'll have to wait and see when we have a pretty good downpour and I go on the air. Back to you.
Well, twin lead, 300 ohm twin lead has been known for this, forever and a day, used for TV reception, right? And when it rains, the absorption through the outer jacket, it's not that the water gets in anything. The water sits on the outside of the jacket, and that's what attenuates the hell out of the 300 ohm. So, like you say, it's not the perfect lead-in wire, but in the dry it works really well. Anyway, I'm happy for you, and it's working well for you, and that's really all that matters, right?
Yeah, Chuck?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, who makes that antenna?
G5. It's sold by GPS Central. I don't think there's a specific manufacturer on the. I'll have to check the box. Um, it's yeah, good question.
Yeah, I think we doubled with somebody. Somebody in there is hearing us. Go ahead.
Is there another station that's out there in the background? I did hear somebody that was talking underneath Chuck there. Victor Echo 3, Quebec uniform.
Yeah, I heard somebody as well.
I was hearing somebody too as well. I thought I was hearing somebody anyway.
There are different people that make antennas there, Chuck. And, oh, by the way, my audio, I did a little adjusting on here. What's the audio like now?
Well, your audio is like you normally sound. It's full, it's loud. It's not overdriven, but I wouldn't add any more any more audio.
Okay, yeah, I turned it down. I turned down the ALC, and yeah, so I wasn't over anyway. This radio adjust, but anyway, yeah, you've got a really nice radio. You did well, and just look at the radio I'm using, and I like it, and it's 30 years old. So there you go. But the new radios definitely with the SDR, they definitely have an advantage. So, but anyway, I did see some signals off the scope, but when I went there, I couldn't hear anybody. So I don't know whether maybe it was somebody tuning up. Who knows? Couldn't hear anything. But anyway, some manufacturers do a better job than others. And like wire antennas, if you get one that's enclosed like that. But I got to tell you a story about 300 ohm twin lead. I had the old TV stuff, and I made an antenna for field day. And it was one of the first field days I was ever in, right? And we had a G5 RV up made out of a 300 ohm twin lead, and the wind came up. It was really, really windy, and it totally destroyed the antenna. I had to make a dipole. So, anyway, just thought that the old TV twin lead was definitely garbage.
Yeah, I have to do some repair on my old one there and fix that broken wire in the twin lead there and seal it up. Maybe I'll need some of that liquid tape.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, but anyway, that'd be really good to seal stuff too. And now that you've got the old antenna down, take it all apart, fix it up, and sell it. It'll probably still work really good.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's not going in the garbage. It still works good. All right, well, let's pass it over to Scott then. He's been quiet there for a while. Scott, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm actually, are you live streaming right now, Chuck?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I put your call into YouTube, but I'm not finding it.
Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet Zulu. You should see a live stream there.
say Livestream on it, Scott?
He probably did, Victor Echo.
What was that, Scott?
I said, I'm looking for you.
VA3CJZ you got to look for.
Yep, okay, I think I just found you.
See, you almost did it, Chuck.
You know what? That's the very first time.
You're so careful to make sure that people know it's an alpha, you know. But this time you almost tripped yourself up. Oh, that's one for the books.
Yeah, that's funny. I caught myself.
I just wanted to be able to hear Rick a little better, that's all.
Oh, yeah, I'm totally understood.
Yeah, go ahead, Rick, and I think Jesus, Scott has tuned in on YouTube there. He wants to be able to hear you, so go ahead.
Yeah, hey, Scott, did you find it yet? Yeah, this is Victor Echo 3 Bravo Kilowatt, and we'll give you a little bit of audio so on the YouTube stream, and we've been talking about antennas and stuff like that, power stations, inverters, lots of good stuff. Anyway, Scott, have you found the YouTube stream yet? Over?
Rick, you got to understand that there's a transmission propagation delay of several seconds and more. So when you talk, he's not going to hear you on Chuck's stream right away.
Yeah, I know that. I was waiting.
Yep, no problem. I got him. Greatly appreciated. He's really pounding you there, Chuck.
Oh yeah, Rick. Rick and I are not far apart, and I have no problems hearing Rick there. So there shouldn't be too much of a delay on the YouTube stream. I've got it set to ultra low latency, and so it should be pretty quick, right?
I think it's them and not you.
Oh.
It's pretty close. It's not too far off.
At least 2 seconds.
Hey, you're up to 5S units now, Scott.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier, Rick. His signal went up 2 S units. He was an S3 earlier at the beginning, and then he jumped up to S5. So it really was strange.
Well, he's gone from a 3 to a 5 for me, and that's with no changes. And so, like I'm hearing him perfect now. I can understand every word he says.
Yeah, I guess he's got a bit of a hard time making out everything you're saying, though.
Yeah, well, I'm not. I got everything off, so it shouldn't be too loud. If you turn up your compression, all it does is increase your volume. So, I got all that turned off. Don't need it for local.
Yeah, right. Let's send it back to Scott.
So then I hear Rick in his natural tone.
Yeah, it sounds natural on the YouTube stream.
Yeah, you've actually climbed up to an S6, Rick. You're doing S6.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, you're an S5 on here, and this needle's stingy, so that's pretty good. Pretty good for 10 meters.
That's very good for 10 meters. And as I say, kind of like the old CB days. It'd be the same thing. Only back then, I kind of miss my PDL. Well, I had a PDL2, and then I had a Moonraker 6.
Oh yeah, Moonraker 6. They were something.
That thing was a monster. When I put that thing up, my dad wanted to kill me. He says that thing falls down and goes into the neighbor's yard. He says, I'll have your hide.
Yeah, well, hey, right here where I live, The property is fairly skinny, so I've got to make sure I point east or west when I rest it. Otherwise, I'm over top of somebody's property.
Roger, Roger. Over to you, there, Chuck.
Yeah, like Paul mentioned earlier, yeah. You don't want to upset your neighbors. It's funny how some of them might be upset with you, or you might be interfering with them. They won't say anything to you, or they'll wait. I remember when I was running 11 meters and I was coming into my neighbor, a little old lady. She had all super old stuff. I think she had an antenna on the roof, uh, and TV antenna. And she waited 9 months, and then she finally called the DOC there or whatever. And I had Vince, show up at my door, and it's like, lady, she lives right next door. Why can't you just knock on the door and say, hey, by the way, I can hear you through my stuff? But no, some people just they won't tell you, but they'll get steamed about it and they'll complain. But how are you supposed to know if they don't tell you?
Hey, when I lived out in Brantford, I'm not sure whether Rick's talking there. Am I talking over anybody?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. When I lived in Brantford, my neighbor, he came over to me, and he was just meeting me for the first time, and I'd put some antennas up. I had what did I have up? Hang on a second. I'm going to turn this down because that way you guys don't hear it in the background. I had a few antennas up in the backyard. I had a vertical. I had a sloper and one other antenna. But anyway, so I was on when I would go on 40 meters, and it was only 40 meters. I would come through his telephone. I would come through his stereo. Well, first of all, the telephone he was using one of those hunk-of-junk telephones that you get from the dollar store. You know, you go to the dollar store and you had two or three. Well, whenever his wife would get on the phone with their son that lived out west, well, I'd maybe be on 40 meters at that time, and I'd come through their whole phone call, and he was getting upset at me. So I said, well, what we'll do is I'll see you. I'll do my best to help you out. I'm gonna check out what I'm doing here, and then if you don't mind, if you'd allow me into your home, I can see what I can do for you. Well, first of all, we got rid of those crappy phones, and I had about 2 or 3 Bell phones in a box, and I gave him some Bell phones. And that cleared up that problem on the telephone. And then the stereo, he was using that stereo wire that number one, you get that at the dollar store too. So I got some really good stereo wire that I was all through with. A friend of mine had actually given me a roll of 100 feet of it. Well, I probably only needed 50 feet, so I rewired his stereo, and I never went through a stereo again, and we ended up becoming best friends.
There you go. Hey, you know what, Chuck? That little old lady, maybe she thought you were a big bad CBR, one of them guys that has a gun.
Oh gosh, yeah. Big scary guy with tattoos. I know. I've been going through that all my life. But yeah, some people would rather keep it bottled up, and but how you supposed to remedy or try and remedy the situation if you don't know, completely oblivious. It's not like we go door to door and say, "Hey, by the way, can you hear me through your TV?" It shouldn't be up to us to go and ask.
Well, that's exactly right. Yeah, well, that's better than the guy across the street from me. When I was on the CV, he had cable company box that wasn't shielded. And every time I got on CV, he could hear me. And he was always coming over knocking on my door. It was a pain. So in the end, Vic and I went over there and we shielded his TV box with tinfoil, and that solved the problem.
Four or five element beam on his house, and he had a vertical in his backyard, and a couple of long wires running off the tower, and wires running off the tower, and he said, my next door neighbor says, well, I never hear him. He says, I can only hear you. And I said, well, probably because I'm right immediately next door. But, you know, I ended up asking my friend John. I said, John, are you a fan of 40 meters at all? He says, oh, 40 meters is full of old fart nets.
Sorry, we doubled at the first there, Scott, so do you remember what you said at the very beginning?
Yeah, as I said, so he never went on 40 meters at all, my friend John. He was Italian, and yeah, he never got on 40 meters at all, but I did. I didn't mind 40 meters. As I said, I used to do some respectable DX on 40 meters, as you know we used to always do as well.
Old fart nets. That's funny.
80 as well. I mean, 80 is a good band as long as you can have a room for an antenna for it. I mean, if I had the room for an antenna for it, but I might this fall. I'll have to get the what do you call it? The branded copper wire that you get, and if I can make this antenna visible, I'm going to make an invisible antenna that I'm going to stretch out. I got a couple of trees that are directly behind my townhouse unit.
Oh, I've heard them use fencing wire, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we got a string of fences, but they're all wood fences. I mean, if you know the townhouses that are all up around Ottawa and Lime Ridge, I'm at Ottawa and Lime Ridge, but they're all wood fences, but on my corner, I'm on the southwest corner, second driveway, and as I said, there's three sets of three trees there. One that's kind of 45 from my property, and then the other two are kind of almost right in front of me, but one stretches right back. So if I can kind of go like a little bit of a L or a little bit of a V from my property, and then across like the other way, and see if I can get away with that, and that would be fantastic. Hi.
We're in the city, Scott, and the better your antenna, the more noise you pick up usually.
We must have a huge delay now.
Hey, you know what I find is invisible wire, that motor winding wire. It's solid gauge usually, but it's shellac wire, and it doesn't. It's pretty hard to see.
Did he say shellac wire?
Yeah, shellac wire. If you can, I got a 40-meter dipole made out of shellac wire for field day, and man, you can hardly see that unless the sun's hitting it just the right way.
You're too quick on the key, Scott.
Yeah, go ahead, Scott.
I think Scott's got slow internet.
just got, you're too quick keying on the key, Scott, on the transmission. No, I got really fast internet.
No, I was just referring to you keying up in general. You know, Rick or other guys haven't stopped talking yet, but you think they've ended their transmission. You just have to be a little more patient, Scott, that's all.
Yeah, no problem. I understand. I can be a little punchy on the key. Sorry about that.
Oh yeah, you're like Tom. You're lightning fast when you key up and start talking again. But yeah, it's you know, the guys around here are a little bit slower. We're all older, so you know we don't move quite as fast, and sometimes you know you take pauses between your sentences. And Rick can talk forever if he chooses, and so there's a lot of breaks in his transmission. Like I say, you just got to be patient. Sorry, Rick, I had to say that.
Scott, winding wire. I think you can probably buy that at Prince's Auto, winding wire. And if you even get the really thin stuff, it's like invisible wire. But you don't want to go too thin. You want to go to that tree out the back. Isn't there a tree behind you right in the middle of the field?
Comment.
Go ahead, Paul.
Well, I just wanted to get in because it was Scott and Rick that was actually talking, but I think Scott is waiting for Rick's response through the link, which is delayed. Anyway, I just wanted to say, like, I've done that magnet wire antenna when I was even a little kid, and it doesn't last. Especially the thin stuff just breaks under its own weight sometimes. Branches or whatever hit it, and it just comes down. And then if it's going over top of something like a patio deck or whatever, and there's this wire that lands there and people get really pissed off. Magnet wire isn't really good because it's not hard drawn copper for antennas, and it eventually stretches and then anneals itself and breaks. So as good as that sounds, Rick, it's really not an option for long-term use. And you can take a transformer apart and just get the wire yourself from the core if you're enterprising that way and got a hacksaw.
Yeah, well, I was looking at the case of where it's going to be temporary, and might have to be fixed all the time because you don't want the neighbors to see it. But the only time I've used the solid wire that was motor winding wire was on field day, and it was only up for 2 days, and then it's gone. So, it never stretched on me enough that I had to worry about it. But if you put it up as a permanent thing, maybe be better off with some other kind of wire, still clad copper, maybe a black insulation on it or something that's hard to see.
Well, look, I agree that there's a lot of options, and some last longer than others. I was just pointing out that it's soft copper, and the enamel coating, it doesn't offer much protection. And after a while, the UV, it's not UV protected, so any amount of time in the sun tends to pancake crack the enamel. Like you see these salt flats that completely dried out, and it's not flat, it's all peeled sections up. That's what the enamel turns like in sunlight.
Well, that's exactly right. And it's like when you put up a wire antenna, you're always doing something to it after a year or two or whatever. And I've had the steel clad break on me, because the outside insulation, got really frayed after a couple of years. So it doesn't matter. What do you suggest?
Well, I'm not really sure about Scott's situation as far as available room to put things, what structures are nearby that he could possibly hang a wire antenna off of, yada, yada, yada. So I really don't know the specific situation, but any wire that you're going to put up that swings in the wind shouldn't be solid core wire. It should be stranded to begin with. It just prevents lots of issues. And then if you want it to work anyhow half decent and it survive ice storms and wind and things like that, you're talking 14 gauge at least, and that's not going to be invisible. You're going to see it. Anyway, that's my thoughts. We can continue to talk on wires. That's cool. I know a lot about this, by the way. So over to you, Scott, for comments from you, E3CSY.
V3CSY, V3TU. I just wanted to try and be as invisible as possible, or as clandestine as possible. That's all. I don't want people to look up in the air, but in the winter, they're not going to be looking for it in the winter. It's just sometimes in the like the spring and the summer, the kids play outside, and they play there, they play just outside. And I was going to ask, if you're in front of a computer, you bring up my townhouse complex. As I said, I'm right on the southwest corner of Ottawa and Lime Ridge, and if you look, you'll see 3 trees that are there, and I'm kind of right there where I have access to those trees.
Well, my suggestion for you in that situation there is to do what Dave DV did when he was up in Guelph. He ran a non-resonant end-fed wire with a 4-to-1 Unin, and it worked great, and you can tune it up on just about all the bands. You probably do need a tuner, at least in the radio, to make that setup work. So if you have a tuner built in, which I think you do, that setup will work. It will give you all the bands, and it's a relatively efficient antenna for what you have to do. Run one wire and have a reasonably good grounding point at the feed.
I'll have to ask Dave DV what he used, and I'll have to get on the phone with him and ask him what he used, and that would be fantastic. As I said, I want to put something up that's semi-decent. The vertical will do it in a pinch, but as I said, I would much rather have something that that I'm going to be able to work off of, and be happy with the radio that I purchased, and work some decent DX, go on 20 meters, 40, yada yada, the old fart band. Just kidding, hi. But just have some fun with it, and that's what I always got into radio for. And I joined the contest. Rick let me join the contest group years ago. I've been doing it for a long time. Always had fun with it, and I don't know. It's been a good hobby for the last God knows how many years of my life. I think when I first got introduced to the contest group, I was in my 20s, and I'm in my 60s now. So that's a long time ago.
Well, I'm not a very good ham. I don't share your enthusiasm for contesting like you guys do. I mean, I do the Canada Day contest. That's pretty much it. Anyway, Dave's setup, we found that his ground was crap because where he was pounding the ground rod in, it was on a slope of a hill, very sandy, and it was the moisture. So what we did was we connected his counterpoise ground to a city railing that ran all the way down the sidewalk in front of the hospital. And this railing, we pasted off. It was 110 meters long. So we used that. It was like, that's 400 feet. We used that as Dave's counterpoise. It worked really well.
Oh, wow, that sounds great. I had a 40-meter end fed, and I actually ended up giving it to a friend of mine because, they're an easy antenna to make. I mean, I made one once. I should make another one, but as I said, I had help with it. Another person sat with me, and we made the antenna together. So, that's that story. But you know, I just say I just want to have some fun with the radio, and as I say, a 40-meter end fed would probably do me fine. I'm just messaging Mark here. I'll say hi to Mark from everybody on the band.
Well, he should be on the radio right now, unless he's out at the cottage. Okay, so the reason that you shouldn't go with the 40-meter end fed is because it's a resonant antenna. And at 40 meters, you have an extremely high feed point impedance. That's not what you want. See, that's what I meant when I said that Dave used a length of wire that wasn't resonant on any band. And he didn't have to deal with the high feed point impedance. Everything came in around 400 ohms or so for him, right? So a 4-to-1 balun is just almost a tickety-boo thing to get you in the ballpark of that antenna working. 40 meters would give you quarter wave on 80. That would be fine. That'd be low feed impedance. 20 meters, again, high impedance node. So I would recommend against using that antenna.
Okay. All right. And just, can I get the name of it one more time? Sorry.
It's a random length end-fed long wire antenna. It needs a bit of a counterpoise to work. You need a balun for it. You need a unin, actually, and not a balun, because you're going unbalanced line to an unbalanced antenna. So it's not a balun that you need. It's a unin that you need. Dave DV ran one up there. I don't think he runs one there where he lives with Garnet now, but it works very well for what it is, and it gives you multiple bands without having to fart around with, an external tuner.
Okay. All right. I'll give Dave a call and I'll ask him about it. By the way, Mark says hi to everybody, by the way.
Why is he on the radio?
Because he's out at his trailer.
That's a good reason.
Yeah, I think he's going to try and find a way to hook something up out there so he can have something, on rainy days. Hi.
Oh, I guarantee you that he will have a radio out there before the season ends. I said he won't be able to wait that long. I told him that last night. We were hanging out for a while. And I told him that there's no way you're going to make it through a season without getting the radio out there. So just 7,000 or whatever. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see how that works out. But hello, Mark.
All right. As I said, I'm just conversing with him here on. He just sent me a message on Messenger there. Oh, no, that was somebody else. I just said everybody says hi. It was somebody else that sent a message. So he's active on Messenger. So he'll see my message in a minute. But yeah, okay. I'll talk to Dave about that antenna and definitely set something like that up. I borrowed some poles off of Mark that I was gonna use, and then I didn't end up using them. But I think now if I do go that way with that antenna, I'm gonna use the poles. Yeah, you probably know the poles I'm talking about.
Well, there's just so many different antennas and so many different ways that you can go. I mean, there's a lot of options here. I was only giving you one that seems to work multi-band and is a kind of a set and forget antenna. You put it up once and it works and you just leave it alone. Yeah, anyway, that's my 2 cents worth. Over to Rick or Chuck. Somebody else take it away. I'll be listening, though. VA3CJZ.
Put one up yet there, Scott. So, have you got any kind of wire at all?
Okay, I'm just waiting for the transmission to speed up right here. And, sorry, I didn't quite get all that, Rick.
Yeah, okay. You've never put up an antenna out to that tree. And, it's nice saying about you shouldn't have solid wire and all that good stuff. But like Paul said, it's going to be a wire that shows if you put up something that's going to last through the winter. Do you have any kind of wire to make an antenna with? And another suggestion I got, which still is in the long wire theme of things, would be to put a weight on the end of a wire and throw it up over your roof. It wouldn't be long enough to really do too much, but, it's still another option. You got lots of options. The vertical antenna is probably the easiest, but maybe won't work the best. And the long wire, a piece of wire out to that tree with some kind of unin in there, yeah, that would be the way to go, I think. You got any kind of wire? Have you any wire there, Scott? Over.
Okay. I'm following what you're saying. I got to get a hold of some form of wire that sorry, it's Paul. That is at least strong enough to handle and not break. And as I said, I want to try to get something that somebody's just going to look up in the air and see it and say, hey, what's that?
The kind of wire that I would suggest that don't stretch too much, the insulation might not be that great on it, though it would be steel-clad copper panel wire, 14 gauge, and that wire, I've used that wire a lot at the contest site and also right here, that kind of wire, and it lasts pretty good, although the insulation will break down. But also the wire that I used was light colored. It showed. So it depends on your neighbors what kind of wire you're gonna put out there. But if it was me, I would go to Prince's Auto. If you've got no wire, go to Prince's Auto and see what they got. You never know. Like RYI. Mark, he used for one antenna, he used that pig fence wire, that aluminum wire, and it's got a string in it, and it'd probably show, but I mean it was really cheap, and he used that. We used that for 160, if you remember, with a dipole, and it damn well worked pretty good. It just, you couldn't solder it, though. You had to make sure you had a good mechanical connection. So, that's another option for you. But, it depends on what you want to put up there. You've been in that place for quite a while, and you've never put a wire out to the tree. But I think that would solve your problem if you put a wire out to the tree and use that unin of some kind. And it has to be if you go on the internet and look for non-resonant lengths of wire, you can actually, there's one that we had set up for the warplane. It's actually gives you the problem lengths and lengths that they recommend for long wire type antenna. Because you get wires that are really hard on the tuner, that don't tune up. And a 4-to-1 is probably the easiest unin that you could find. So that's a good recommendation too. If you can get something like that, and your radio also, in the radio usually fine tunes. You can fine tune it. So. That would be a way to go. Anyway, just a suggestion from me, my 2 cents. VA3QU, VA3 Bravo kilowatt.
VA3BK, VA3QU. Thank you. I've actually typed that in here, and I'm looking at a few things here on what do you call it? YouTube University here, not YouTube University, Google University. And earlier you were saying, I always thought that when people were saying between the word balun and onion, they're two separate entities. Is that right, Paul?
Yeah, balun's usually for direct to an antenna from a coax. And a unin, you can put that in line. So with a long wire or something like that, you can put it in line. And the counterpoise would be a good idea too. But I don't think you really haven't got any room for that unless you want to find a way to put it down in your basement. put a counterpoise, and it depends entirely on what band you want to go on.
So, first of all, a balun is a device that changes a balanced line to an unbalanced line. So that's where balanced to unbalanced, that's where the term balun comes in. A unun is a device that transforms a unbalanced to unbalanced. It does not do the balun thing. And all of these can have different step-up ratios. So you can get a 9-to-1, you can get a 49-to-1, you can get a 4-to-1 balun, or you can get a 4-to-1 unun, a 9-to-1 unun, so on and so forth. Dave actually he didn't use a 4-to-1 unun, he used a 9-to-1 unun up there. So over to you, Scott, for any other questions.
Okay, yeah, I'm reading exactly what you're talking about here, so I just found it, so I'm copying all this here, and getting some recommendations on antennas on what I can look into here. I think I'm going to talk to Dave DV there. Definitely get down there and buy him a couple of coffees. We'll walk over to Tim Hortons and I'll grab his ear there for a while and get him to tell me about all this on the arts of antennas making, because he built us a really good antenna for the we went out to do the what do you call it, the one year at the military base that we did field day from the military base, or I don't think it was field day. It was one of them that we did from there. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But he put the antenna up for that, and that antenna worked gangbusters.
Well, unless you install several antennas at that location and test them all out side by side, you don't know whether it's that good or not. It just worked good, right? So, anyway, Dave's a pretty sharp guy. He'll explain to you the need for non-resonance, and the 9-to-1 unun is a pretty simple device. You can buy the core and wind it yourself like Dave did. He bought himself a little project hobby box, little plastic box, bought himself a core, wound it himself. I mean, it's really simple. There's only 9 turns on the core in total. So you can buy them for $40 or $50. You can get Mark to wind you one. And counterpoise. So you're going to need something for the antenna to work against, and that's the counterpoise. And it doesn't have to be a grid of wires. It could be stainless steel chain link fence. It could be a ground rod hammered into the ground. It could be existing pipes or something in the ground you have there. There's a lot of different ways in which you might be able to achieve good ground current flow.
Okay, all right, I'm following you. Just another question. So when you're looking, you were saying earlier, when you're looking at overall length of the antenna, of course, where was I going with this? Sorry. When you're looking at the antenna, so you said I'd be able to tune like with, if it wouldn't be, you said it wouldn't be like a 40-meter end fed at all. It would be just like just a random wire, random length of wire that would be fed from the end, correct?
That's correct. So all the bands that you'd want to operate on, 80 meters, 40 meters, 30 meters, 20 meters, 17, 10, whatever, and none of those bands, there's any resonance to the antenna. So you don't get the extreme feed point impedances that you do as you approach half wavelength. You get very high impedance feed point when you're end feeding a half wave. If you're feeding a quarter wave, you have a low impedance there, but you need counterpoise or ground to work against it, because a quarter wave antenna is not a full antenna. Always remember, an antenna is a half wavelength. Those quarter wave whips you see on cars aren't the whole antenna. The body of the car is the other quarter wavelength of that antenna, simulates the other part. So if you have a non-random wire or a quarter wave wire, you have to have equal currents flowing into some sort of a ground structure. And that's where we talk counterpoise, but yeah, that's almost a misnomer, because I think Rick has a different idea what a counterpoise is to what I'm describing.
Yeah, exactly. So, with your situation, though, it'd be hard for you to put up a counterplace. So, this is a situation, Paul. He's in a townhouse, and he has very little property on the back. So, he's got a vertical there right at the moment. But there's a tree out in the middle of a field. It's all common ground. It's common area. And he could put a wire out to that tree. And for a counterpoise, a like what Paul's talking about, you might be able to run a wire up to the eaves trough for that. But I don't know if you'd want to do that or not. Besides, when Ron did it once, he used that as an antenna, and he got all kinds of noise from his townhouse. So I don't know whether that would be a really good idea or not going on there. But anyway, yeah, you want to do all this while you're so capable there, Scott, over?
Thanks, Rick. I appreciate that, and I heard you a lot better there now. I just played with the filtering a little bit there on the audio, and I've got you much clearer now, so I'm not having to use the YouTube where I've got the delay. No, that's fantastic. What I was going to do with the poles that Mark had let me use is it's got a pulley at the very top of the poles. And it gets me up kind of, pretty high. There's 4 lengths to it. And I think they're 4 8-length poles, so 8 times 4, 32 feet. So be able to put that up there and then run a cord down to string it down or up or whatever, and then of course then slingshot or fire the wire through the trees.
Yes, the slingshot and the bow and arrow that some of the Bell guys used. And Bell guys had a throwing hammer. It was a hammer with a hole in its head. And I'm not even kidding you. I'm telling you, the hammer had a hole in it. And he used to tie a wire onto the hammer and throw the hammer through the trees or whatever. Crazy stuff. Anyway, anything that'll do. I think what you're referring to that Mark lent you was the gin pole.
Yeah, well, it's four green poles that he got. I guess they're project poles, but they're meant to do anything with, really.
Yeah, you can put them up and raise antennas up on towers and masts and stuff like that. It's called a gin pole. Anyway, very common thing for hams. Yeah, if you could get somebody with a drone, like a flying drone, then you could put the wire exactly where you want it. Rick's right about the weight. You could put the wire up over a branch and just attach a small weight to it, and the weight would give you all the tension that you need, and it would allow movement of the tree when it's high winds, so there's always that. Now, with regard to the ground and the counterpoise, a real counterpoise with a fan of wires that spread from the base in equal directions, I'm not suggesting that. Keep in mind what the antenna is. For all you guys listening to this, that is a loop, a circuit, okay? Your center conductor and your shield on your coax feed line, that is a loop circuit. And that means that if you want higher currents to flow in the center conductor, you have to have equal and opposite high currents flowing in the shield. That's your ground part there. So whatever you do, you have to make it low resistance RF ground to make the antenna work efficiently. Does that make any sense?
Go ahead.
Hey, so what were you going to use the poles for, Scott? Were you going to use them to elevate one end?
Well, what I was going to use the poles for is that at the very top, there's a pulley at the very top. So what I was going to do is just what Mark had an idea of is using those trees and then basically what I would do is just fasten once I had the antenna up, I would just fasten the pole to to something that would hold it vertical, and then just run the wire out from there. But as I said, I was just basically using it to send the coax send the coax up the pole to the feed line to the end of the feed, and then the antenna would go out from there.
Yeah, well, don't forget it's a lot of weight, a lot of pull from the wire on the tree, and if you put up the pole on your fence and behind your unit, I mean, it's going to be a lot of pull on that. You'd have to guy it somehow. Guy it to the house. I don't know. You might have trouble getting it up high at your end. At the townhouse end.
Yeah, I know. I got to look into that. I don't know. I'm thinking of just. I was thinking of strapping it to the fence, but I don't know. We'll have to see. As I said, I got a few ideas in my head, but as I said, I will probably guy it. A friend of mine actually guyed my other antenna that I got up for 2 meters 440. My dual band antenna. I got that on a pole right now. I could actually run the wire off of that, but it's not very high. It's only it's 20 feet, 20 feet in total. I don't know. I could run the wire from the top of that and just go, kind of just slope up to the tree and then across, and not have to put the poles up at all.
Dave ran his balun at 4 feet.
Yeah, I heard about that.
You don't need it. You don't need to run the coax and the balun and put that in the air. You just have that near the ground, and then you're even closer to good ground connection, whatever you're going to try to do there. So you're a lot closer to your ground, your counterpoise, and just run the wire up from there. I don't think you need to worry so much about gaining height as you need to worry about making the antenna efficient.
Exactly, and getting away with it.
Well, the thin wire just going up looks a whole lot better than a coax and a balun hanging up in midair, don't you think?
Very true. And Tom says hi as well, everybody.
Hey, well, how high is your fence, Scott? How high is that
Hi,
fence
Tom.
back there?
I could almost, I would say it's probably about 5'8", about 5'8".
So you can't really go off the end of it. It's not really high enough. If somebody walked back there, they could possibly run into the wire.
Yeah, that would likely happen. I don't know. I know that every now and once in a blue moon, the only people who would come and have access to the yard, want to have access to the yard, our landlords. Well, we're a co-op. We're not Hamilton Housing. We're a co-op. We're a little different, but. The only people that have access to the yard is, of course, them, and they give us notice, and of course, then of what do you call it? The gas company when they come and read your meter.
So you're telling me, as a co-op, then you could ask permission?
Yeah, I basically asked permission to put this antenna up, well, the one antenna up anyway, and but as I say, the other antenna, I want to try and get away with it. It's just I want to put something up in the air, man. Sorry, I'm just kidding around. I wanted just having an antenna up and see what works for me, and. The best way of putting an antenna up that will work, like what Paul was saying, having something even at ground level and then going up from there that you don't even need the poles at all. But if the poles are a must, then do that as well. But I don't know. But as I say, the trees are there, and that's what I probably would have to look into in using them.
Well, the poles are not a good idea. Not unless you put 4 of them together and wrap them up somehow, so they're really good and solid, and then somehow solidly mount them to the fence so that you can get a little more height, like about 10 feet or even less, just so you're higher than what somebody can reach, like a 6-foot guy can reach. They can probably reach 8 foot, or 9 feet. And so if you have it up 10 feet, that would be pretty good at your end. And then at the tree end, of course, it's going to be up a lot higher, so nobody's going to be able to fool with that. And a weight idea is a really good idea on the other end for the wind and stuff like that. But anyway, the other suggestion I had was, put it right on the brick. If you could put some kind of anchor on the brick right below the eaves trough, you'd probably get some height out of that. But then you got to have the right tools to drill a hole, and you need something that's a really good anchor. Otherwise, the antenna will actually pull it right out of the wall.
Okay. So basically, any pulling will have to be either on the pole or whatever that's securely anchored, and nothing that's I don't want anything, of course, anchored to the wall, because that's not mine.
Yeah, well, the best thing would be to make something that that the co-op is going to accept. There's no sense putting something up and then some guy complains and you got to take it down next week.
Very true. As I said, I wanted to just try it the one time and see how it goes. I was thinking, more in putting it up in the fall or whatever. But if during the, even as I say, whatever is invisible, like you're not gonna look up in the air and you're gonna visibly see the thing. I've seen some antennas that have been up in the past, and you literally you had to be staring right at the thing. I mean, to see it, and you wouldn't even know it was there.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, that's what that brown wire, that shellac wire. Like, it's hard to see, but it's not durable, like Paul said. It wouldn't last. Okay, is there somebody in there who wants to break in? Go ahead. I heard somebody key up. Chuck, are you still there? Okay, did you hear that key up?
I heard something. I'm not quite sure, Rick. I couldn't make it out, but I did hear some interference there.
Yeah, I thought somebody keyed up. Okay, well, anyway, it does matter. There's all different things you can try there, Scott, and but I think probably the best thing would be to figure out what nobody will get upset about. Your neighbors maybe talking up before. Seeing you're in a co-op, better off to cooperate with everybody and see what they think is acceptable. And some guys, like that guy next to me, I couldn't even put a vertical in my backyard. He was all upset about that, threatened to shoot me. So, some guys you can't keep happy anyway. Anyway, but, maybe you could talk and find out and try, unless you try something you don't know. Anyway, what antenna are you on right now? Because, it could be the conditions, but this is the best I've heard you in a long time. Over.
I'm still on the same antenna, the Antron.
Okay, well, it must be conditions then, and you know, it's super quiet here tonight on 10 meters, so that could be it too. Anyway, I have preamp 1 on, which usually brings up the noise too, but you're way above that, so no problem at all. I'm hearing you really good. But whatever you had before, when we went on 40 and stuff, I heard you better than I'm even hearing you now. So, you know, like that antenna, remember you had that other vertical on your fence? That's the one I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. What was that? That was, it was, give me a second, I'll think of it. An R7. It had problems, and I ended up selling it. It was an R7 I got off of, I bought it off of Marty, and I had trouble loading, no, hang on a second. Was it the R7 I had? Yeah, it was an R7 I had. Sorry about that. And it was shorting out on 40 and was it shorting out on 40? Yeah, it was shorting out on 40 and 80, and couldn't figure it out. I tried everything. Went to every thing on the net and tried to figure out what the heck was going on 40 and 80. All the other bands had no issues at all, but 40 and 80 would just all I would get is just short.
Yeah. Well, when Marty had that antenna, we used it down on the beach, and it tuned up pretty good, but a lot of people couldn't hear us. So I didn't think it was too good. But that R7, I think it's on R7 that Mark had. That thing, it was harder to tune, and you had to use a counterpoise because of the sand on the beach. But man, that thing worked good. Anyway, you know what? Al bought that antenna. Remember that vertical we had out of the contest site? The one that you could do 160 on? Al Urser bought that. And as far as I know, he's not using it. You might want to look him up and see if he wants to sell that one.
Do you want a vertical, no fuss, no muss, install the antenna and then sleep at night, every night for years?
It doesn't need the wires. It's got its own radials. Go ahead.
Sorry, I must have keyed with you, Scott. Sorry.
No, that's okay. No, I was asking, Rick, did the antenna require the wires? Like, I had an antenna out in Brantford that worked fantastic. Got a Cushcraft vertical that was fantastic. 80 through 10. I ran it with 16 wires, and oh God, talked everywhere with it. Sometimes, in some cases, it worked better than my long wire that I had. I had 2 long wires up, and I had that up, and I would switch between the 3 antennas, and it was unbelievable the reports I would get between sometimes the vertical, but it depends on who I was talking to. But that was a good antenna I had.
Yeah, well, an R7 or an R5, whatever, they're pretty finicky and a lot of screwing around with them. Hey, you know what? You might be, maybe that common antenna that they put up at our remote station, that might be good for you. And you could guide it from one way. I forget how long they are. But anyway, it's basically a long wire that's up vertical. It's a piece of aluminum, and it has like some kind of tuning network in the bottom, and it's got good SWR everywhere. Maybe something like that would be even better, easier for you to operate with.
Bingo.
As I said, I was looking at the one that there's what is it called? There's one. It has the radials on it, and it's 40 through 10. It's actually somebody had one for sale for $100.
No, I'm talking about the Comet CHA250 HD.
Yeah, about $650, brand new.
This is not a quarter wave, and it does not require ground plane radials.
And it tunes up everywhere.
Everywhere. It's just SWR is 1.5 to 1 across the entire ham band and everything in between.
Might be something you could use, but it's a little bit expensive. But they got them at Radio World, and you might be able to get it cheaper somewhere else. Anyway, maybe go and check if this Comet. Paul knows the number. They put that up for the remote station, and man, oh man, it's got a 7300. Tune it up, bing. It's there, right there. It doesn't matter what band you're on.
Did you say CHA250 HD?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I found it.
This thing is, it's lossy in the base to get you no ground plane radials and the good SWR across a really wide bandwidth. You sacrifice 3 dB of power. That's the penalty for this antenna. But it is clean, it's a vertical, it has no ground plane radials, it does not need a counterpoise. You basically install it, set and forget. And it's pretty good weather-wise. So if you want something that's, just hassle-free, Scott, you don't want to play with antennas, so to speak, just want it to work, that's what you should save your pennies for.
This is I'm looking at it right now, actually. It's, I think I'll save my shekels for this.
Might be the cat's meow for you there, Scott. Something like that's really easy to put up and operate with.
Put a flag on the top and say you're patriotic.
Yeah, there'd be no problem. I could just basically switch places from where my one antenna is to the other, and it'd be no sweat. It would operate quite well, and just use the existing. I could even. Well, you can. So they say you can operate this at ground level or at height. It doesn't matter, right?
That's exactly right. And because it's a low-band antenna, height doesn't really matter that much. Look, Scott, the best antenna for you is a 120-foot tower, a 4-element beam on 80, 40, 30, 20. I mean, that's the best antenna you should have, okay? Nice big tower. We all know that, okay? Everything else is going to be a compromise. So what's the best that you can do given your restrictions? And the CHA250 is certainly an option here. The club likes it now. They didn't in the beginning, but they're okay with it now.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I'll tell you. Sorry, club?
Hamilton Amateur Radio Club.
Oh, okay. They're using one off of the what do you call it building? Down the bay.
Over to you, Rick.
Okay. Paul suggested it to me, and I was looking at it, and they asked me what was a good antenna for on the roof, and they wanted something simple and easy to work. So I suggested that one. So they went ahead and bought it, and it works great. I mean, there's a little bit of difference in signal reports. Your signal won't be quite as good as what you give the other guy, probably, because you're losing a bit of, like Paul says, 2 dB or whatever. You're losing a little bit there, but it tunes up on every band, beautiful. and it's not made for 160, so it doesn't tune there, but you can still use it to listen with there if you want it to listen. But it'll tune up on every other band, 17, 24, everything.
Well, that's fantastic. Okay, if they're happy with it, and you know, and as I say, when you don't really, you want something to just, you don't want to say to the people that where you're putting an antenna like, hey, I'm in control of the whole thing, but you know, it works that you know, they're able to do everything. They're you know, that you know, that's happening for them.
Look at the ease of operation. So be easy to put that up rather than screwing around with putting some wire in the tree, whatever. And I think you probably get permission for this antenna a lot easier than you get stringing a wire up in the tree that might fall down and cause somebody a problem, you know.
Okay. So the antenna, I'm just looking at the specs here, and what's the total length of this thing? Oh, here it is. Sorry, height 23.4. Okay, I found it.
Yeah, standard like length of a 5/8 wave ground plane antenna for CB. That height, that's what this is. No ground plane radios at all.
Okay, yeah. And well, that looks pretty good. It'll handle 250 watts. That's fine. Besides, if I was going to run power, I usually only want to run something over just a bit over 100 watts anyway, or a couple hundred watts. That's fine with me.
It depends on, you know, what your goals are. I mean, the club is a bunch of people that might not know how to tune an antenna remotely through a separate tuner. They might not like that it doesn't operate good on certain bands. This is a vertical, so it's basically pointed in all directions at once. It has a relatively low angle of radiation. It has a very broadband, the low SWR across the band, and you lose about half your transmitting power to achieve that wondrous miracle of that 23.5-foot vertical. So that equates to about, if you're thinking about it, that'll be 1/2 S unit to the receiver at the other end. I mean, it's certainly tolerable. Anyway, you know, if you want a better performing antenna, that's not what you would go with. But for simplicity, multi-band operation, and plug and play, and it's vertical, so it looks clean, right? It's just a stick, so it looks natural. Anyway, Rick got shit, kind of, in a way. When I suggested it to Rick, and he brought it forward to the club, they were naysayers, weren't they, Rick?
Yeah, they didn't, Paul's right, they didn't really like it at first, but now I think they like it because of the simplicity, you know, and even if you put it on 160, it hears, so it hears pretty good. So you can't transmit on 160, it'd be useless, but you can transmit on 80, and it works. I've used it on 80 and 40, and I've used it on 20, and I've used it on 10. So, you know, it works pretty good, and that's remote through the computer because they got a remote 7300, and that antenna's up 60 feet. It's on top of a 6-story building, and, you know, I don't think it even needs to be up that high, not when it's vertical. So basically it's a long wire that is in the vertical configuration. That's what it is. So if you do any study on it, that's what you'll find. It's a long wire placed vertically. No ground planes required, nothing. Easy to tune. It's a great antenna.
No, that's good. As I said, I'm looking at the specs on it, and the total weight of this thing is only 7 pounds. I mean, that's incredible.
Well, yeah, and you know, like Paul says, you know, easy to look at. I think nobody's going to get too upset if you put that in your backyard.
Just a question for me on principle here. So, no, I think I just answered my own question. So 250 watts SSB, but 75 watts digital. Digital is just a blast of solid data. I follow. Okay. I answered my own question. Sorry.
It has to do with power duration, right? So if you're operating sideband, very peaky in signal strength, only the peaks of my voice are sending any considerable power out. FM would load that thing up. I think it would have a lower power rating for FM and AM as well as digital. But anyway, it's a good antenna. It's great for its simplicity of operation. It's great for its wide bandwidth. I mean, that thing, you can use it as a receiving antenna all the way up to 50 megahertz. I think it does 6 meters as well, if I'm not mistaken. So you can transmit through there. The club's using a ICOM 7300, which has all the bands in it. I mean, all the Mars bands and everything. So you can operate 17, 12 meters, 30, 60 meters. So you can get into all the other middle bands with that particular antenna and that radio. And the ICOM 7300 is a wonderful radio, very good modulation, very reliable as a remote station. It doesn't seem to have many problems. Occasionally you got to reboot the computer it's interfaced with, but other than that, no, the thing just it hums along just nicely. So I'm glad we won the day, Rick, and they took your suggestion after all. We were proved right.
Yeah, that was great. It worked out good, and I'm glad you suggested that to me in the first place. So that turned out really good. I think they were even surprised.
Well, look, I don't just go on rumor. I saw people field test these things with graphs and field strength meters and the whole 9 yards. They really put that antenna through its paces. And they showed how it worked, and then the penalty for all of that, right, the no fuss, no muss, all these bands you can operate, is that you lose about 3 dB of power. That's it. That's the penalty.
Yep, that's right. And that's true, and it actually does too.
So what? You're putting 100 watts out, you get 50 watts transmit power out. Believe me, that's better than a lot of antennas where they have shitty ground planes and whatnot. So, again, RF ground is a tricky thing. It's not DC ground like most people think it is. And those end-fed wires need some kind of a counterpoise, and that's the ground part. And it's harder than you think to provide a low resistance ground. Oh, I got a story for you guys if you want to hear it.
Well, sure, go ahead.
Back in the days when they were testing vertical antennas, they didn't have all the computer power they do now. So a lot of testing was empirical. Let's just build it and then we'll measure it. So RCA, they built this huge field of, it's like 2 square miles of solid copper sheet. So what a wonderful ground plane, right? I mean, it's just solid copper. It was elevated about 5 feet. You could walk underneath it. The test antennas would be mounted in the middle, and the feed point would go straight through the copper, and you would make your attachment point there. So that ground plane is about as good as you can get, right? I mean, a solid sheet of copper that's stretched out for 2 square miles. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay, and the connection was soldered to the copper sheet right at the feed point. And here's the surprising result, and the one that always stuck with me, okay? No matter what they did, they could not lower the ground resistance at the feed point lower than 2 ohms. That perfect conducting ground plane still had a 2 ohm resistance.
Yeah, okay.
Well, remember that quarter wave antennas need to work against the ground plane, and it's a loop circuit. I keep telling you guys, this is a series circuit. That means that if you want a lot of current to flow in the center conductor to go into the vertical, you have to have the equal amount of current flowing into the ground. And if you have a shitty ground, then you will not have high current going into the center conductor. So that's why grounding of quarter wave antennas is so bloody important, and what you normally think is a good ground, a DC ground, doesn't apply in the RF world.
Yep, yeah, that's true. That's very true. Yeah, because verticals, I've experimented with ground planes on different verticals and got different feed point impedance, and you know, like you don't need 240 grounds, you know, ground wires like some people say. You know, it'll work fine with something like 16.
I've got some white paper studies on ground plane radials because I was faced with a similar situation where I am here, you know. How do I build a proper ground plane to work against this antenna I have, this tunable antenna? So I gathered a lot of information about that, and I already had stuff, you know, on the shelf here from days gone by. I own several ARRL antenna handbooks from different years, but basically the rule of thumb is this. If you have a choice between stretching out a couple of long ground plane radials or a whole bunch of little short ones at the feed point, you go with the short ones at the feed point.
Yeah, that I would say is true. And also, the length of the ground plane doesn't really matter that much. It will affect your impedance point, but the length, it can be a multiple length of resonant frequency. It does not have to be, like if you put in ground planes for 40 meters, what do you do when you go to 80? You know, like, so you're, we experimented with that out at the contest site with different lengths of ground wires, and we generally put in ground wires that were good for the lowest band that we were going to be on, and that would work on every band. The impedance point would be just different value, and that was taken care of by whatever kind of tuner you had.
Wow, you're like the first guy in forever I can think of that actually understands that. That's right. When you put ground radials on the ground, there's a hell of a lot of coupling into the ground, and the ground detunes those wires. So you think it's resonant when it's in the air. You put it in the ground, it's not resonant at all. And it doesn't matter because it's absorbing your energy of RF into the ground. So it's lossy, and it detunes the ground radials. So you're absolutely right. You're the only guy I've ever heard in a long time who actually understands that.
Yeah, I did a lot of experimenting, and you know, like you don't only go by the book. You use a book as a guide, and then you experiment and try different things. And depending on where you are too, I mean, you know, like have you ever heard of a dummy load antenna? I'm sure you have. A dummy load antenna, and basically, you know, we experimented with that too. A dummy load dipole, and it was cut 51 feet aside, which is a good length, like the you know, like the G5RV, and then we put a dummy load in the middle, and guess what? We got like 10 watts. We figured it out. We were getting at least 10 watts out, but that antenna would tune up anywhere, and it actually worked. So a dummy load antenna, you know, people say, oh, well, it's no good, but it would work, but you lose power.
Well, again, that's another type of antenna that people generally tend to poo-poo because it's not terribly efficient, right? We'll get to that in a second, but the ground plane radials you want massed near the feed point. That's what you're trying to achieve, right? You're trying to achieve as low RF resistance right at the feed point. So the antenna that I have here, I have it sitting on a 1-foot diameter copper disc. That's how my ground plane starts. It's a flat piece of copper, and then I have 8-foot radials as ground plane radials, and that also supports the antenna. But that first 12 inches is really important that it be just completely continuous copper. Anyway, that's the key to all of this is grounding, right? And again, if you just run a whole ton of little wires, that's the way it goes. Yeah, the first time I ever saw a dummy load antenna, my dad showed it to me. We were on some field day he dragged me to. I hated those things. It was always fucking raining when we were there for whatever reason. So anyways, he hooks this thing up and he wires it up, and I'm looking at my dad. Why the hell do you have a 6-inch resistor hanging in the air? It's my antenna. Anyway, he's using a dummy load antenna, right? But he didn't bother measuring the wires. He just ran one straight down to the ground and then stuck it in a ground rod. And the other wire was just some random length he tossed up in the trees there. And he was running a dummy load antenna, basically a 50 ohm antenna. Flat across all the bands, no fuss, no mess. He loses a little power, but
It worked though, didn't it?
It did, because you're allowing the transmitter to see a nice 50 ohm load, and the transmitter's very happy. So it puts out lots of power and everything's tickety-boo. The antenna, like I said, is not terribly efficient, but you're only losing about 6 dB in that particular situation, and that's 1 S unit of received signal loss at the far end. 1 S unit's not that big a deal. But I don't know if Scott even is aware of what a dummy load antenna is. You might have to explain that to him.
Oh, no, I think Scott understands that. Yeah, but that common antenna, it is somewhat like a dummy load, but it doesn't lose as much as a true dummy load antenna. So, you know, that antenna works pretty good, Scott. Anyway, Scott, you follow us along here?
Oh yeah, I'm getting you. I'm following along with no problem. I was just listening through the YouTube stream. Hang on a second, I just got to pause it there so I'm not listening to myself. No, I'm following along, and I know what a dummy load antenna is. You explained that to me years ago. Because he said you explained how dummy loads work, and then he says, well, you can also you said do it to me. You can also use it as an antenna as well. Oh no, we used to shoot the breeze for hours. Remember?
Well, you know what the best antenna is that most people don't have room for it in their backyard is a doublet. Yeah, you know what a doublet is, and fed with twin lead and off a good tuner. So doublet is probably the best antenna. If you talk to some of these guys on 40 and 80 and you talk to a guy with a doublet, holy jeez, you'd think he's running power.
That's a monoband antenna though, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's a multi-band antenna. You got to have a good tuner. So you feed it with twin lead, okay? So you got low loss, really low loss. Goes right to the tuner, and it uses a 4-to-1 balun in your tuner. And then the other side, the top section, is a dipole, and it's like 51 feet aside is the best doublet usually. And that will transmit on every band. Every band you can use it, but you got to have a good tuner.
Okay, so the same as G5RV, you need a tuner for certain bands. Okay, well look, you do realize that the most efficient antenna in the world is the good old dipole, right? I mean, you understand that, right?
Oh yeah, well the dipole is the standard, and that's what we use mostly as a contest site because you get the best bang for the buck. That's how I always said that, best bang for the buck, and you don't have to worry about the ground plane too much either.
Well, then no ground plane is necessary, although ground does play a role in any horizontal antenna, even if you are running a dipole. You still get reflections off the ground, and it still shapes your radiation pattern. And you know that because if you move the dipole up or down from Earth, you change the radiation pattern. Anyway, it is the most efficient antenna, and if you feed them properly, if they're really good, you can get about 98% efficiency from a good old-fashioned dipole. And everything else is a compromise. The doublet is a longer antenna, gives you lobes, it gives you gain in certain directions, but then again, the penalty, of course, is that it's finicky on certain frequencies and you need a tuner.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And, so like out of the contest site, we didn't have a lot of stuff to put things very high. So we found that, like a quarter wave on 40, somewhere around 30, 32 feet, it actually reflected off the ground pretty good. And we put up dipole there. The dipole I used on 40 was actually in a V shape. And I talked all over the world with that damn thing. And, it certainly helped to be in a quiet area, too, in the rurals. I can tell you a story about that. I can hardly hear Renzo on his 40-meter antenna, which is too low. I can hardly hear him here at home because of the noise, all the noise that comes in, and I could hardly hear him. But when we were out of the contest site with that simple dipole that was no more than 30 feet at the apex, and it was something like 10 or 12 feet at either end, I could hear him at 5S units perfect. And he could never figure out why we could hear him out there, but I couldn't hear him here. And we're a lot closer together here. But, it sure makes a difference on a quiet receive.
Oh, it absolutely does. I mean, living in Ancaster, my father's ham set up there, it was very quiet up there. There was not a lot of noise, especially back in the 60s. And his antenna that he ran was super efficient because he ran a 70-ohm twin lead, I kid you not, 70-ohm balanced twin lead to feed his 70-ohm dipole. And he had a tuner for the odd bands and something that wasn't resonant, but that antenna was his best antenna he ever had, and he often said that.
Oh yeah, 75-ohm coax works really good for sure. I used that when I was on the chicken band, no kidding, and I tuned the antenna so that it had a good SWR, and because that one vertical that I was telling Scott about that L has, it uses a piece of 75 ohm as a tuning transformer, and we used that out at the contest site too. We used a lot of 75 ohm hardline, and people always said, "Oh, that won't work. Oh yeah, well, hey, the proof is in the pudding. We got out tremendous, and that 75 ohm coax that I used here on the chicken band, everybody thought it had an amplifier, and I didn't. And that it was 11U. I was using 11U, much superior to 8U. I'm telling you, it worked great. And I used it on a big stick, so like the big stick. What's that? A dipole that's vertical. So there you go. That's all I used, and dipoles work great. And if you want to get technical, if you use 50 ohm coax, you can use a 1.5 Balun, and that will, I think it's 1.5 or it's a 1.2 Balun that you use, and that will make it 50 ohms exactly, because the dipole is really 75 ohms. So you put up a 75 ohm coax, your old man knew what he was doing.
No, first of all, you misunderstand. He did not use 75 ohm coax. He used 70 ohm twin lead. This is balanced line, okay? 70 ohm twin lead feeding a 70 ohm antenna. It was just a perfect match, and it was just made in heaven. That antenna was super efficient and super sensitive and no noise. Anyway, the thing with coax is this. If you were to take 50 ohm coax out and install 75 ohm coax, you're going to have a mismatch of about 1.5 to 1. And that equates to about a 4% power loss. Now, if you install any kind of Balun to correct the impedance from 75 to 50 and back again, you're going to lose that much in those devices. It's not worth it. And most of the time, 75 ohm coax is lower loss per foot than 50 ohm cable is. So even that slight SWR mismatch, you're going to gain back in less loss in the transmission line itself. And oh my God, people freak out when they see 1.5 to 1. That's insanity. That's like a 4% power loss. It's nothing. If it's 1.5 to 1, be happy. Anyway, use 75 ohm wherever the hell you want. You're not going to notice the difference. You'll probably see improvements.
Yeah, the 1.5 is nothing. That's nothing. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, nothing to worry about. Yeah, but anyway, the electrical engineer, RF engineer, I should say, his name was Bob Zimmerman. He worked for NATO, or not NATO, what's that other, the space agency down in the States. Anyways, a silent key now, but he's the one that told me that about the 1.2, and I thought, boy, that's going overboard. But, he made an antenna that hung in the tree, 20-meter antenna that hung in the tree, and it was off-center, so it would give him a 50 ohm exactly. And, man, that guy, he had off-center fed Yagis for 2 meters and stuff like that. He put vertical in his backyard for 40 meters, and he made it out of the downspout on your house. That brings the water down off your roof. He made it out of that, and he made it vertical, and he put plastic pipe on the inside to make it more secure because it was aluminum he was using. And man, oh man, I never saw a guy so strong on 40 meters than him. He had it in his backyard vertically, made it out of nothing. So this guy was pretty smart. I'm telling you, Bob Zimmerman, he had a bit of a tick, when he talked and stuff, but what a smart guy. What the hell was the space agency? It's not NATO. Anyway, he was an engineer for them guys, RF engineer, and he worked with a lot of microwave stuff, and he was part of that Rebo satellite down, the one they decommissioned in Puerto Rico. He was involved with that too. And the guy had a Puerto Rican call sign, and he used to say, "No problems for Bob." So it was NP4B. That was his call sign. And he said to me on the slide one time, he didn't say it very loud, so he didn't want other people to hear. But he says, "Oh, you know what that really means? It means no pussy for Bob." And he was talking about his wife.
I remember, I know of him. I mean, he was a prolific technical article writer. I've read hundreds of papers that Zimmerman wrote, and there was a few others that were notable as well for their genius minds and expertise in working things out. Yeah, look, the vertical thing. Look, it's not uncommon for people in the United States who are hams to just go and buy a 41-foot aluminum flagpole, right? That's got a nice, beautiful taper to the top. They hang their flag off there. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to the association there, they got this thing bottom fed, and it's vertical. And they operate all the bands on those things. So just buy a flagpole. I mean, you don't need to go through all that nonsense with pipes and downspouts and stuff. But lots of guys do that as well, right? So there's a lot of ways to skin a cat, I guess they say. My throat's just beat, and I've been talking up a storm and sort of monopolizing things. So I don't want to do that. But I'm gonna say good evening, guys, and we'll catch you another time. I gotta get some throat relief.
Yeah, well, okay. I think we should pull the plug anyway. And yes, you have a lot of knowledge, Paul, and a lot of good information there for Scott. So, Scott, you have to figure out what's the best thing, the easiest thing for him to do, or the best bang for the buck. Like I would say a dipole, but he can't put one up there. So, not unless he does something over the roof, maybe. and that might not be too good. Anyway, so Scott, if you're still there, I guess you are. We'll say 73 and also 73 to you, Paul. And I'm not sure if Chuck is still there or not, but if you're Chuck, we'll say 73. So I'll be clear on your final, guys. This is V3 Bravo Kilowatt. Turn over to Scott.
Roger, Roger. Thanks very much there, Rick, and V3BK, V3QU in the group. And, yeah, thanks for being there, guys. Paul, thanks for the fantastic advice. And I looked up Zimmerman, by the way. I did remember him. I read some articles on him years ago, and as well. So yeah, I want to maybe read up on him some more.
Really?
I always like to sit down and try and read something if I can. I don't always forget to sit down and read some print there. Hi. 73 to everybody. Chuck, if you're still in there, 73, thanks for putting the feed on as usual, and it's always greatly appreciated. Paul, 73, and have a good night, everybody. V3QU.
Chuck may be gone, and don't feel bad, Scott. That stuff that I read is Zimmerman's. Some of that stuff is just way over my head. Some of that stuff I got to read 20 times to even understand what it is he's saying. He's a top-level engineer, so we can still learn stuff, though. Good evening, guys. VA3CJZ clear.
Yeah, great guy. And if you go on the club website and go to the archive, oh, geez, I don't know if you got to be a member to do that now. Yeah, but anyway, the archived newsletters, he actually wrote articles for the Hamilton Amateur Radio Club newsletters, but he was one smart dude, I'll tell you. Anyway, 73, everybody, V3BK clear.
73, Rick.
Okay, gentlemen, I'm still here, and very interesting net. And I wish you all a great rest of the week and a good night. I shall end the stream now, and 7-3. This is VA3CJZ. Good night, Scott, Paul, and Rick, and whoever else is listening.
Yeah, 73 there, Chuck, and thanks for doing that for us. That was great. I thought you were gone a long time ago, but anyway, you were just quiet. We let everybody else talk. 73, and all the best. V3BK clear.
Okay, Rick, take care. And Paul, I didn't hear what you said.
In the evening, I'm still. Just one quick question for you, Chuck, if you have a moment.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Good night,
quick
Chuck.
question for you. When you're
Good night.
looking at your waterfall there, I'm trying to get it so, like, say I'm looking at everything that's incoming. So I'm looking at, like, like multi, the span, the speed. So how is it that you are, you don't want to see all the junk, you just want to see the incoming of the one, or, the outside signals coming in when you're changing those?
Oh, well, I have to uncheck the multi, and then you just get the straight waterfall like we're getting right now. And I can change the waterfall to 3D color, and to the way it is right now.
Oh, okay. I just did it. Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just that the band is not active. If you check back earlier when we were on 40 meters, you could see the band was very active, and you could see it on the waterfall. But sometimes when the screen is black like this, I just I hit the multi button. I show different views, just to keep people from falling asleep.
Not a problem. All right. Thanks, Chuck. Always great to hear you and get information. Even though our radios are different, they're still somewhat similar.
Yeah, they perform along the same lines. Okay, take care, and we'll talk to you again soon. VA3CJZ.
Victor Echo 3, Quebec, uniform 73.
Okay, folks. Thank you for tuning in, listening, and watching. Have a great rest of the week. This is Chuck from Hamilton, Ontario, saying good night.